All right, try that. How's that sound, Caleb? Yeah, take your time, mate. I can see. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, it's. I probably just had the chords wrong. Good. Yep. All right.
Saturday night footy here at Marty Bush Reserve between Sebastopol and East Point. The rain's trickling down. My name's Sam Treasure. I've got the voice of Ballarat alongside me, Sam Young, and also our new stats man alongside me as well, Tristan. Sam, into this one. East Point obviously last week having a bit of a disappointing loss to Bacchus Marsh, and Sebastopol kick off their season tonight, finishing 8th last year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Great to be on again, and always great to call a game with the national one of the Ballarat Footy League. Look, I look at tonight as an opportunity for Sebast to make some inroads with obviously the big 3 boom recruits from St Joey's. They've really raided the footy factory down there in Geelong. And then you go on the flip side and you have a look at East Point, obviously rebuilding their own list, the number of guys that left in the off-season. It's an opportunity for them to unveil some new talent. I think they made some really good inroads last week in the opening half against Bacchus Marsh and some new players, but obviously faded out in the second half. So we're looking forward to see what they can bring to the table under the lights in what will be tricky conditions, has to be said, in this wet, slippery stuff.
They are. It's going to be greasy conditions. We've just come from Ballarat and North Ballarat, which was a thrilling game called on 3BA, mate. Do you want to give our viewers a little bit of a review of that one? Of course, Fraser Perkins, what a game-saving tackle at the end of the game.
Yeah, it went down to the wide, didn't it, mate? Right into the deep of the time on, and a goal-saving tackle that resulted in a goal to Luke Gray to seal the game. And yeah, the Swans ran out 13-point victors. I mean, Tristan probably right across the stats, but I think won all the KPIs that I look at for a game of footy. What do you get out of the stats, my friend?
Yeah, Ballarat had a lot of the ball, hit-outs-wise. Just North Ballarat a bit better in the centre, but Ballarat just a bit better across the ground.
Yeah, 3 goals. Jack O'Brien inside forward 50 led the way. Big and Ewan, a couple of goals, a couple of big marks, a couple of clangers as well. He's a full highlight reel. And then, North Ballarat, they had to fight from behind. They hit the lead for the first time late in the 4th term before Ballarat were able to get their way back in front. So a real arm wrestle. 2 sides I think will fixture in the top 6 in season 2026.
Yes, well, we've got a very good crowd building here at Marty Bush Reserve. Night footy, it's one of those rare opportunities, of course, to play under lights, Sam. Have you ever played under lights yourself, mate?
No, I wasn't good enough to get past the midday show, my friend. Under lights for cricket, absolutely. Hello, Eastern Oval. Yeah, Eastern Oval. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, right, yes. Tristan Ashmore, what are you most excited for tonight, mate?
Keen to see how East Point bounced back after last week's disappointing result, especially that second half. They looked not in control, but they looked all right in that first half, and they just let it get away in the second.
Yes. I agree. I think it's, their leaders were good. Like Merritt had 30, Ron Mose had 27. Canny was pretty good at 17, 18. I think Jesse Cairns is a massive in. He's one of those guys who's been a real progression type. Started as a small forward, small defender, broke into the midfield even in this good East Point team. Now he's going to be a real cog for them in there. So him and Joey Dodd, I want to see them get their numbers into the high mid-20s when it comes to disposals. But most importantly, where they get the footy is going to be important. It doesn't have to be just one at the source. It's around the ground. It's about being involved in the link in the chain. I think they're going to be important ones to help generate a score. And Jack Jeffries kicked 5 last week as well from minimal opportunity. So if they can get in there enough and create some bit of havoc, I think they're definitely a good show tonight.
He was good last week, Jack Jeffries. He kicked 13 goals for the year last year and 5 last week, so he's already more than a third of the way to his total last year. Joe Carmody is a master coach. I'm sure he's gone back and reviewed the film and probably have a little bit of a change tonight in some areas of play, but it is a real good opportunity for both sides. Of course, these two probably going to finish close to one another, you'd think, Sam. I mean, today, as many have said, has been a massive day of football. Lots of close matchups where everyone really playing each other is expected to finish close to each other on the ladder come the end of the year. Yeah,
it really has been super sat day. When you look at the fact it was a tight game up at Melton today as well, with the Bloods getting done by 5 points by Bacchus Marsh, 2-0, top of the ladder, the Cobras are flying. And then you look at also the big game between Darley and Sunbury, the grand final replay, the Devils by 2 points. But the biggest story was Redan absolutely wiping the floor with Lake Wendouree. All the noise about the Lakers, with all their recruits, but done by 10+ goals by Redan. Mark Gregg, we know his credentials. He's obviously coached at a pretty high level himself. Played at the VFL level as well. Triple premiership player there. He just shows that he knows what he's doing. That's for sure.
And for him to get that monkey off the back straight away is huge mentally as well for a coach.
Correct. It's all about getting that first win. He can build from there. And look, Greggy's no stranger, but to high pressure, high performance footy. But really looking forward to seeing this one getting to between Sebastopol and East. So can't wait to see how it all pans out.
Yes, well, tensions are building here at Marty Bush. We're very close away from the first bounce. Did you catch the toss? I actually didn't.
No, I didn't actually.
Okay, we're going to find out.
Yeah, it looks like we got a
Tristan, stats man.
Let's say East Point won it.
They're kicking to the left of screen to start things here.
They are, yes.
Tip, boys?
I've got East by 14 points personally.
I'll go against you. Sebast by 8.
Yeah, happy to go Sebastopol 20.
Okay. So we're underway. Umpire holds the ball aloft, ready to burst these two seasons into life. Toby Hutt won the first hit down in game 150, but Canny with the clearance for East Point sends them inside 50. Joyce fighting there with Coach Lockyer of Sebastopol. Both going at it. Lockyer couldn't quite get to it. Coming through for East Point was Willems. Now over the top of the footy is Sebastopol player in Callum Stewart, but we're going to get a boundary throw in 55 metres out from East Point's goal.
Yeah, interesting that Lockyer head-to-head with JJ Jared Joyce, the new JJ of the East Point camp. So he does like to play himself in the most dangerous forward at times, as Tony, as the leader of the footy club. As we're at half forward here for East Point. Play circle. I think umpire's going to say, give it to me and go once again.
Yes, there might be a bit of that tonight with wet weather footy.
Yeah.
The rain it's been inconsistent all day. It's been absolutely bowling down at some stages and other stages it's been light. It's a bit light right now. Getting the clearance there. Also the handball out was Lockyer, but they've gone to a dead end and we're going to get a boundary throw in. About pretty unchanged from the last spot, about 60 out from East Point's goal. Kicking towards the city end are East Point, Sebastopol towards the velodrome end of the ground as the umpire gets us back underway. Going to have to work hard down there tonight. Winning the hit down was Stevens, but it's to no avail. We're going to get another repeat stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, repeat theme, as you said, Sammy. It's going to be important that someone like Hutt against an inexperienced in Stevens tries to get those hits on the outside so they can get a bit of clearance like this.
It is. Stevens had a tough assignment last week against Gertz. Gertz managed to get 63 hitouts and Stevens just the 14. So against Toby Hutt tonight, hopefully for his sake, he can get a bit more of a hand on the footy. Nice young promising ruckman.
Yeah, you're raw young talent. Just getting his first strides in the senior footy.
So we're underway again. Stevens gets it down to Rodomonis, the contested ball king. East Point get it around, although a bit of a falcon. It's come off the head and it's gone up the chimney. Taken in the tackle was an East Point player. Players fighting over it. Getting it out there was Fletcher. And we're going to get a ball up. About 65 from East Point, more directly in front now.
So just the attacking side of centre of the ground here. East Point with all the territory to start. Hutt decisively down. Time owners be first to it. Ricochet off him in the slippery stuff. Tough foot to be won. Hurried kick forward there by Cairns will bring the game into the half forward line for the first time. Brown unable to get there first. In the end, it's going to just come off hands and out of bounds. Of course, off hands, not last disposal, so it won't be one of those lassos.
No. Hold your horses.
We'll just get a ball in.
It's going to be exciting as well, Sebas, in that play. They've picked up 3 Joey's recruits, of course, in the off-season. Of course, the Joey's juggernaut, Jack Buckley, there in play, but we're back underway here. Stevens getting it down to Kepler-Jones, and Jones was taken in the tackle but managed to get out a handball. Out the back there is Jeffrey, although he was taken in the tackle nicely by Stewart, and Sebastopol get the clear and kick up towards the wing. Bowled 2 people, now going hard at it is Forbes, who gets on the good end of it, runs his measure, and it's a nothing kick picked off by Liam Howard, who's becoming a very prominent backman for East Point. And he goes back to Lucas, the new recruit, and his kick is going to be chopped off. He put off more than he could chew. Sebastopol going to come the other way through Jacob Wilkinson. Wilkinson fires out a handball, though it's not effective, and East Point are going to come back the other way now through Joyce, who sends a long ball inside 50. Foot race is on in earnest. Jacob Brown taking on a Sebastopol player. I'm trying to identify who it is. It's Sam Wilkinson, and the boundary line wins out. Sam. Yeah,
he called it well in that passage there, play Sammy, when Forbes was going forward. He looked up and there was no Sebastopol player inside forward 50, so it was a bit of a nothing kick. He just had to try to bide a bit of time and just try to draw a player to him, because in the end he just blazed away home to nothing, and East Point ran a mop up and sent it forward. So inside 50 for the Kangas. Taken out the air straight away by Joyce. Got boots the ball right to the line. Off the net goes Brown with that soccer skills. And the opening goal of the game will go the way of the Kangas, and will go away with their sharpshooter and Jacob Brown.
That was impressive. Jacob Brown just had the intuition to just go off the deck in slippery conditions with a nice finish, and gives East Point a start that they really wanted, and will be good mentally just to have a 6-point aid.
Well, I hate to see what the stats are in a minute for the inside 50s, Tristan, but it's just been one-way traffic, it feels.
East Point first 3 of the game, so makes sense for them to kick first goal.
Yes, and Jacob Brown kicks his 3rd for the season now. Of course, he was swung into the forward line last year from defence in 2024. Kicked 50 goals last year for 6 in the comp. So there's Brownie's first goal of the night for the Kangas.
Former Sebastopol junior himself as well, Jacob. So
yes.
Knows the traps well.
He knows the traps well. So we're underway again. Stevens rose high, but Hutt just grabbed it out of the ruck. And it's going to, after falling off a few bodies, East Point are going to get the clearance through Stevens. Picking it up nicely there was McDonald, and kick inside 50. Jeffrey couldn't hold on to the chest mark. And fighting at ground level was going to result in a ball up 40 metres out from East Point's goal.
Yeah, very hard to get, clean possession. There's been pretty consistent rain for the entirety of the opening term, so it's not necessarily who's going to be the cleanest in the additions, but territory will be of the premium. Ricochets between the multiple players, Hutt involved, so Stewart there at the bottom of the pack. And as the ball finally came out to Sam McDonald, the umpire said, nah, I'm going to throw it up in the air. 40 metres out from goal, directly in front for East Point. They lead on the scoreboard, 1 goal straight, 6. So that's yet to score, yet to enter inside 50, really.
So they're back into another striking position here, East Point. Sebastopol just have to stick fat at this stoppage. So Hutt will go against Joyce, and Joyce managed to get the hit out of the ruck. Falling to the footy, got to Jones, and Jones fed it to Jeffrey, and Jeffrey to the top of the square to Brown. Nice smother though from Wilkinson, he did well there. Toby Hutt spun in the tackle, got out a handball to Stewart, and Stewart with a clearing kick only finds Merritt. Merritt with all class goes backwards to Lucas, and Lucas kick inside 50 is nice to Willems. Takes a mark 50 out from goal, 45 angle, looking to play on quickly. Kicks to Brown. Wilkinson did well again. Waiting down low front and centre was Jones, who was taken in a strong tackle by Buckley. We're going to get a ball up 30 out from East Point's goal.
His presence just commands the footy at times, Jacob Brown. Just able to be such a, not necessarily a traditional key forward, but just draws the footy in the air. As I'm trying to go through off the air where there was Kepler Jones, couldn't gather. Keel retreats with the hand pass, and then the end's off hands and out of bounds. So we'll get a ball in deep inside forward 50, but the ball has lived for the opening term. East Point. This ends here on the scoreboard.
Kepler Jones bright early, boys.
Yeah, he's been lively.
He has been good.
And Show could promise last week in only game 3 of senior footy.
And he averaged 5 tackles in his own just 4 games last year, so good pressure player. Toby Hutt grabs it out of the ruck, then with a check side clearing kick. Isn't going to be effective, although dropping the mark down there was Howard, and we're going to get boundary throw-in.
Yeah, tough for players, umpires, commentators, spectators in this weather. Ball a good 100 metres away from our broadcast position on the beautiful balcony of the Marty Bush Reserve. A great feeling in the house, despite the weather. A good crowd.
And I think the crowd next to us will get rocking later if Sebastopol can get on their merry way. But we're back underway here, coming through strongly. There's East Point, although ball has just been knocked out of bounds, and we're going to get another stoppage as the rain just summons to a drizzle. It's nothing too palpable, but it is there. The footy is definitely greasy. So we're underway again. Hutt got good purchase in the kick, although East Point are going to come back in 50 again. Joyce, great smother over the top there from Lockyer. Kick's gone to the top of the square in the Brown direction. It's a 1-on-2. Banbury and Wilkinson did well to nullify Brown taking a mark of the footy, but we're going to get a boundary throw in another dangerous position for East Point.
Yeah, as the presence of Brown continues to grow, Banbury, they just dropped off the contest as a spare in defence and try to give Wilkinson a bit of a hand in the contest. And I'll give Sammy Gray a bit of credit. He's been pretty good in the one-on-ones thus far, getting those spoils in. As we go inside 50, 25 from goal. Clearance will come the way of Buckley in the way of Sebastopol towards the outer side. Big fly at the top. Umpires paid a whistle, hands in the back. Free kick and advantage is taken by the Kangas as they drive inside 50 looking for Joyce. As going back to where the kick came from, there was a late knock. Downfield free kick's going to be the result.
Have you got that inside 50 count, Tristan?
Yeah, first 7 to East Point, so Sebastopol definitely want to try and get some momentum going.
They just got to get their hands on the footy and get a mark and, and get some territory. That's the thing, is they haven't had a mark, I don't think, in their defensive half to be able to stem the bleeding at all. So Joyce will line for goal, about 40 metres down a 45-degree angle. Tough kick in these conditions, it still has to be said. Ball will get heavier as the night goes on as well. So go and take your chances early to hit the scoreboard, I feel. He's a beautiful long kick, Jared Joyce. And then after the always look near side. In the end, he's failed to register a score as he sent it over the netting, just missed the cars and gone out in the full.
Yes, the former tennis star from Lelel just missing to the right-hand side.
Well, it's going to be a great question. You don't play tennis in the wet unless it's inside. So how does he handle the wet? I don't know. Is he a dry day specialist?
I think Wimbledon gets called off. It's too wet.
They don't play after, 6 p.m. anyway, don't they? Night game as well. Brand new territory.
He's got to stay awake.
So we've got new balls as well. As that one's gone over the fence, I think.
Was that another tennis pun or?
Oh, it's good. I didn't mind it by Sammy.
So Toby Hutton, game on 50, dangerous kick. Coming through nicely was his cock. He got a piece of the footy. Sebastopol, can they rectify? Well, they're going to be a ball up in another perilous spot. It's 30 out-ish from goal for East Point.
They still can't get that mark, can they? They just get to stem the bleeding. They just need to, try and slow this East Point press. They're just suffocating them inside their forward 50.
They are. So Joyce flew nicely, although Sebastopol are going to get a exit D50, but Banbury gave a nice handball off to Gardner. Banbury goes back.
That's Henderson.
To Henderson, my apologies. And he's going to go inside 50. So Sebastopol, their first look inside 50. And players diving over the footy, although it has spilt out eventually. Working hard to get it out of there. Umpire just lets them play a bit and now eventually says, gents, I'll throw it up. 35 out from goal, 45 out from goal. Sebastopol's and Velodrome side of the Muddy Bush Reserve.
He's like a type, Henderson there. Still raking left foot kick. Able to get on the outside, looked pretty good.
Yes.
Tap down inside 50 for the Borough as they get on the move. East Point desperate to get across. Korean kick will come from Merritt, but more just gain territory than anything. Tough footy to be won. Right foot kick will come inside 50 by Phillips towards the top of the goal square. Off hands. East Point able to get it through. Ball still alive. Outside boot. That's the kill. One inside 50, one goal. Just like that.
So Luke Keel, the veteran, kicks Sebastopol's first. Of course, 121 VFL games. He's very, very experienced. That's 101 at North Ballarat, 20 at Geelong, and he's always been a Sebastopol boy as well.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, but since he's come back, obviously coached the club as well. So yeah, he's become very much a fan favourite whip, hasn't he, of the Borough?
Yeah, he's a legend.
We'll give him legend status early. I like it. One guy straight 6 apiece, but that's the most pleasing thing I think there from Sebastopol. They're able to get finally inside 50 and get a bit of bang for their buck, which is the important thing. They've been able to stem the bleeding and not get blown away from all the inside 50s that East Point had.
So umpire gets us underway again. Players working hard over the footy, and the umpire's called out a held. It's going to go East Point's way in the way of Fraser Kelly, the new recruit. Looks left, looks up the ground and decides going straight up the spine is the best option. Kicks to 40 out. Rise! Joyce got up but couldn't hold on. It would have been an absolute special mark as the umpire's called a throw, and he's going to pay the advantage with Jack Banbury. Has a bounce in these wet conditions. Can be dangerous. Pulls the trigger, goes to the middle of the ground, but it's a nice pick up there from... That's a good mark. Yeah, very good mark.
Yeah, it was Forbes with a clean pick up.
It was Forbes, yeah, 11.
Looks like it might be Edwards that's taking the mark deep inside 50. But it was the ability that time to tread a little bit of water with the footy in hand. That's what he didn't do early. He tread water there. He waited, he drew the kicker to the hot spot, and the perfect kick. He didn't have to break stride marks on his chest.
So it's Jacob Fletcher who's taken the mark in his 15th senior game. The Sebastopol Junior is going to have a chance to put them in front and potentially go 2-0-12, but starts his approach on the runway. Kick looks good off the boot and kicks through. Well and truly, Sebastopol go 2-0-12, leading East Point 1-0-6, and Tristan, 2 inside 50s, 2 goals.
Yeah, you'd be, if you're Tony Lockyer right now, you'd be absolutely laughing, thinking how East Point not more in front. But
yes, absolutely. So Sebastopol can breathe for the first time in this game. Very positive when they look in transition in those last few minutes. Jacob Fletcher. Can't imagine he's kicked too many senior goals, Sam Young. You probably know more than me on that.
I'll have to just go back to the archives, get the abacus out, and I think if I carry the one, he's got now 19 in 16 games.
Okay, well that's not bad.
Doesn't mind a snag, the old Fletch.
So Hart goes at it, gets a good purchase and gets it off to Henderson. Henderson long left kick towards 60 metres and it's going to bounce out of bounds, and that's the lasso.
Lasso!
Grab your horses. East Point are going to come back. Although the footy's gone over the fence, so we're just going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, whilst we're waiting for the footy to come back, I think that's the key in the contest there. That these wet conditions, who can make the most opportunities. Sebastopol to go inside 50 twice, score twice, is obviously 100% strike rate, which would be thrilling in the box. But what was pleasing about the last entrance, the forward entry the most, was their ability to think their way through problems. They didn't bomb it away. They didn't get sucked into the wet conditions being a factor. They got it in there with purpose and delivered a score.
So Slater's kick up the line was picked off nicely by Wilkinson, who looks to go corridor, but he turns it off as well to Canny, East Point's captain, so tiny bit of a ping-pong passage there. And Canny's going to go long up the line. No real breeze tonight. Earlier today it was really blowy, but players have got that on their side tonight.
Yeah, well, you go from Mars Stadium, which is the wind tunnel of Ballarat, to the pristine Marty Bush Reserve. Not even a zephyr here, Sammy. I reckon it's a beautiful night for footy.
No, that's well said, Sam. It's very still.
So we'll get the action here going at half forward for East Point. They trail by 1 goal on the scoreboard. It's 2 goals straight Sebastopol 12 to their 1 goal straight 6. Stevens did well in the ruck. Quick kick forward there by the Kangas was in the direction of Hiscock. He was under the gather. Hurried forward kick from Kelly. Didn't get the required journey. Just slapped forward there by Notha. In the end, he gets his own ricochet back in club game 150. Tackled there by Kelly. And did he throw it out? Umpire's actually going to pay the free kick the way of Notha for
legged, I think.
Yeah, he's done. And he's a little man, so it's hard to get that low.
50.
So he'll be able to advance all the way from half back to half forward. It is a small ground down the middle here at the Marty Bush Reserve. And he goes quickly towards that full forward position. Desperate was Lucas with the spoil. Quick snap around the body. Don't tell me. It's a wonderful finish. And Sebastopol make it 3 from 3. The perfect start continues. And that's, again, making the most of the opportunities, boys. And they get it down there. You've got to be taking opportunities early in these wet conditions when the ball's a little bit not as heavy. And a great finish on goal. They've got 3 goals straight. 18, Sebas. Couldn't be happy with the start if I was Tony Lockyer, to be fair.
East Point +3 in the hitouts and +3 in the clearances, boys. So they'll be a bit frustrated. They're not getting any bang for their buck going forward.
That goal was, again, Jacob Fletcher. We're just waiting for that to load. We'll get confirmation who the third goal kicker was. We are a good 150 metres away from this one at the Marty Bush Reserve. But wonderful finish. 3 goals straight, 18 Sebas. 1 goal straight, 6 for East Point.
So underway again here. Clearing kick for East Point from Kelly. Sends it to a dangerous spot, but Sebastopol have the numbers. Banbury will take it out and kick it towards true centre wing. Or coming through like an absolute wrecking ball was a player who I can't identify right now, but punching it forward there was McDonald, who gave it on nicely to... It's behind.
So the goal went down in Forbes there. So again, the smalls for Sebastopol are important today. All right, East Point go quickly towards the outside. Merritt using that ability to just run out of the square and get full advantage with the kick. Defensive side centre wing the ball has moved to. We're approaching time on in this opening term. And East Point, despite having the early dominance, trail the Sebastopol's efficiencies going forward. They work it half forward. Quick handball by Cairns found its target. And the dribbling kick inside forward 50 gains vital territory as the foot races on in earnest deep in the fence for Sebastopol. Banbury is the one that leads it. And then he's dumped as he went to the ground. And the umpire didn't like a free kick. And the opportunity for Sebastopol to repel. So the Kangas losing their cool very quickly as the Borough polled on the goals themselves. 3-1-19 leads East Point yet to score. Short ball down the middle should find Holmes. He's trying to make himself a regular in this senior life for Sebastopol season 2026. Spearing pass is good. The big man in front in club game 150, Toby Hart will take the mark on the half-back line.
So Toby Hart goes up the line to, in the end, just coming through nicely there was Little Hales, I think.
Yeah.
Presented really well. Read the drop zone. Runs his measure and kicks inside 50 for Sebastopol. They've been good when they've gone inside 50, although dropping a chest mark. There was a forward and East Point are going to repel the other way. Over the top. And it's spilled out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. But Sebastopol, every time they go inside 50, they look dangerous.
Well, what we're seeing as a trend here with Sebastopol is actually their ability to use the footy well. That's the key, is every time they get the footy, they're getting some bang for their buck and be able to, make those moments count. And I continue to harp on it, but the start of this game is so important as it becomes more and more of a slog. It's going to get harder and harder for either of these sides to generate score. And we're anticipating a low-scoring affair on a wet occasion like this, but the start being fast, the way the Sebastopol like it, very positive signs will be in the coach's box for Tony Lockyer.
Absolutely, and so Joe Fraser's doing the ruck work right now for East. So that throw-in missed both. Coming out there, I think, is Canny. Kicks it towards Cooper Glenwright McGuan, who did well to overwork his opponent, although couldn't get both hands on it, and hacked off the ground nicely there was by Hiscock, I think, but it's going to fall out of bounds. But advances the ball nicely for East Point there, putting it into the pocket.
Well, this is where they need to be able to hold some territory like they did in the opening parts of the term. And, they generated their only goal through Brown by just scrapping and hacking it forward. And that's what they need to continue to do. Is just, we take little wings, take territory, and try to generate a score that way.
So Glenn Wright McGowan, last year part of the Rebel squad, is going to go against Toby Hutt in the ruck. And Hutt wins it down, although umpires pulled out a hold. Glenn Wright McGowan was holding Toby Hutt there in the contest. So
yeah, a little bit of experience there. Game 2 versus game 150.
That's right.
So Toby Hutt deep in his own defence here. Had a lateral ball to Buckley if he wanted it. He's going to ignore that and look to go in straight lines long towards the outside. One for the high flyers, if you will. Little Hales will arrive there. At full stretch, can take the mark. Lucas will dribble it inside 450. Hutt good below his knee. Shows it again. Long right foot kick down the line. Just gaining vital territory. Well, that's a nice, smart mark in these conditions, it must be said. Taken there by, I believe that might be Hiscock.
Yes.
Only 11 marks tonight, boys, just to show the conditions here.
Long ball inside 50. Again, fisted away by Wilkinson. Brown able to get to the highest point of that one. Diving in there was Cairns. He just threw it the hand pass and hope more than anything. Stoppage at half forward was a good result for Sebastopol to tame on in the opening term here at the Marty Bush Reserve. It's the Ballarat, 3-1-19, leading East Point 1 goal straight 6.
So we'll go again here. Just 45 out from goal. Hart tried to grab it out of the ruck and did well. Kicking it up, Felix Henderson's under that one. Just tapped it on really cleverly. 2 bites of the cherry. You just can't quite pick it up cleanly, but Liam Howard does well for East Point, and he's going to send a dumping kick to 50. No one could mark. Waiting at the back, Sebastopol have the numbers to clean up, although ball still in a stagnant position, and we're going to get a ball up.
Well, it's even numbers behind the footy for both sides at the minute. Sebas having Banbury roll off the stoppage at times to be a spare, but it's pretty much even money to this stage, and that's really favouring Sebas as Keel's able to come away with him from the clearance. High ball towards centre wing. Big fist over top came there by East Point to bring it to ground. Merritt's going to have his work cut out from here as a vacant forward line to aim at for Sebas. High ball is in the direction, but numbers do prevail for the Kangas deep into the fence there.
Yeah, I think that's Slater. He did really well.
Had the height advantage. He'll come out towards the broadcast
And
side.
he has a big role to play for East Point this year.
Well, that's a big mark in front, though, taken by Sebastopol. As they look to come back into attack. The Curtin, the high ball. Hits a nice spot. Bounced the bonnet there of Cooper Littlehales, who didn't see it coming his way. That's going to hurt in the cold stuff, I must admit. McDonald gets across, unable to gather. Hacked off the deck towards the line. Go the Kangas. Walked the tightrope and kept it alive for the moment. In the end, umpire's going to put his whistle to mouth and say, holding the ball. Ball didn't come free in the tackle legally, and the ball for East Point on the outside.
Yeah, so East Point just tucked up close on the boundary line.
I will say, good shout out to all the cars listening. They're having the lights on, making it a little bit easier for the commentators to see on the far side. Turn your lights on for us. Thank you.
Yep. Finds the inborn target of Lubrick, and Lubrick's going to go across the ground further. One more here to Jesse Marshall. That kicker was from Fraser, and Marshall's able to go in 50. Brown slipped over trying to get the footy. Although, having his head ripped off was Sam Q, who is going to take the free kick, and you hope he's okay.
Yeah, just it was a glancing blow as Wilkinson came past. Cairns didn't like the attention that Q copped, and umpire's going to say 50 after he was dumped, and as Kelly goes to ground, but 50-metre penalty, says the umpire, and Sam Q, the veteran, will be taken to the goal line. Now, I can tell you one thing about Sammy Q. He won't believe his luck. He's kicked 2 goals in 80-plus games of senior footy for East Point. He's been taken to the goal line. He's thinking, thank you very much. I'm going to get on the score sheet in 2026. And he does.
And he does. And the celebration is quite subdued, but it looks like he's okay after that head knock, which is the main thing. But Sammy Q kicks East Point's second, and they go to 2-0-12, trailing Sebastopol 3-1-19.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a hot, head moment there from Wilkinson in terms to take Cairns came over. Obviously, he was always going to remonstrate in that situation. Took him to the turf. Right in front of the umpire. Takes the line. Yeah, there's a bit of mayo put on there by Fraser Kelly further on after that. It's to be questionable behaviour to begin with. But nonetheless, the 50-metre penalty definitely there. Takes Q to the line. Gets the goal and breaks a run of 3 goals in a row for the Borough.
So East Point draw one back as the umpire holds the ball aloft and tosses it in the air. And underway we go again. Both ruckman really missed it, but getting the clearance for Sebastopol on his left was Felix Henderson doing well to dump a high ball inside 50 for the Borough. The ball's going towards the boundary line, although it is picked up eventually by Slater, but he just crosses the boundary line with footy in him. We'll get a boundary throw in, about 45 out from Sebastopol's goal.
Yeah, virtually opposite from our broadcast position in the half-forward line for Sebas. Lead it by 7 points here at the Marty Bush Reserve. Henderson again involved. East Point will come away with it though. Searching hand pass was fisted back where it came from by the Borough, by Lockyer. Just getting that territory, getting the ball, continue to move forward. Time owners got the handball away, went to ground. Now, was that a lasso free kick off hands? Off hands, says the umpire, so we'll get a ball in.
I think it was inside 50.
Inside 50 regardless, there you go.
Yeah. So taking the kick, I think might be Jacob Wilkinson. No, I think it's Felix Henderson.
Yeah, as you said, Sammy, we're a long way away from this one from our broadcast position, so tough one to handle. I think the kick.
So Henderson goes short and finds a target, presenting well. I reckon that's Adam Forbes.
And that's poor checking by the Kangas defence there as well to allow a player just find a little pocket of space like that, where that kick was always naturally you think you're going to the top of the square, but to pull it in another 15 minutes shorter and result in a shot on goal for Sebas.
Adam Forbes makes him pay. Kicking the goal, nice round the corner. Kicked the most goals for Sebastopol in 2024, and he gets his 2026 campaign underway.
That's his second, actually, so he's leading all comers again for Sebas. So going well, the old Forber. Really found a home as, at times, the deepest forward for Sebas last year. They sort of played a lot of small ball around him. With the likes of Edwards and stuff down there, he probably doesn't have that same role. He spent some time in the midfield at times last year as well, so we'll see him continue to progress his game as his career goes on to season in season 2026.
Okay. So that goal he kicked before, we might have thought was Fletcher, was obviously Forber.
Yes.
So that's his second. Okay, so that's Sebas leading now by 13 points as we're back underway here. Crashing through was an East Point player, and we're going to get a ball up at left half forward flank for Sebastopol. Well, Sebastopol's left half forward flank is back underway. Throw up, missed both ruckman. Coming through was Keel, giving off a handball. Now Sebastopol will have another chance again. A scrubby kick which couldn't be picked up cleanly, which is tough in these conditions. Players fighting around, Wilkinson in there, gives back a handball. Sebastopol just keeping this ball alive, and the umpire now calls a free kick going the way of East Point. Did you see what that was for? I didn't.
Holding the ball.
Yeah.
It was holding the footy.
I think that's the key now as well, though, for East Point. They just need to get the quarter time here for Joe Carmy's men and just assess where they're at in this game. I mean, they were good for the opening 10 minutes, got some dominance and some territory. Sebas got a few goals, was bang on them. Now it's trying to get out of jail and only take a 2-goal deficit into the major break.
So Dodd went out to Kelly. Kelly's centering ball was dangerous and cutting it off to Sebastopol, although East Point might get it fortuitously, although footy's coming through. Crashing through was Joyce, I think. Kicking towards 50. Here's Willems. He's got enough time, although he does have 4 Sebastopol players on his hammer, so he's got to be good. Fumbles, tough conditions. It's Jeffrey, my apologies, and doing well was Buckley in game 1 for Sebastopol to stop Jack Jeffrey from picking that up and giving East Point a good counter-attack inside 50, and we're going to get a boundary throw in.
Yeah, it started with a good there sport from Phillips coming on top to bring it to ground, and then Buckley in support. So defending as a team there, that team defence coming to the forefront. As we'll get a ball in, half-forward flank here for East Point. Can they get a late one here? A bit more respectability on the scoreboard. Hutt with the clearance, gains territory. Lucas ran underneath that one. Bouncing ball's going to be tough to deal with as Slater knocks it back. Fumble in the wet stuff's no surprise. Just humped forward by Sebas. Handball received, misses his target. And the umpire has paid a free kick off the ball.
Holding the man, it looked like.
Yeah. It's going to go the way of Howard, I believe. Him and Forbes. Just a bit of push and shove, and was right in front of the umpire, off the footy, as we said. And, yeah, free kick to East Point. But undisciplined play has just crept into the closure of this final opening term, for Sebas. Just left the door slightly ajar for the Kangas.
It has, and Howard's going to be the beneficiary for
Do we have a blood rule?
I think he's showing him a card.
Card.
He's been yellow carded, so for all those listening and watching at home, there'll be 15 minutes where the Sebas are down a player on the field, and Forbes won't be able to return until then.
Would love to know what that was for.
Yeah. There's...
Umpire just saying, got to do that one again, gents. Liam Howard.
Well, there was a fair bit of push and shove from it, whether he got those strikes slightly high, and that's what the umpire's seen, or maybe a bit of verbal altercation. Hard to tell from our vantage point here, but I'm sure we'll come up during the week.
So Howard, Mount Clair Jr. was in the best 10 out of 20 games last year. Goes along the line for Joyce. Juggled twice, couldn't quite hang on. Plays around it, falls with Sebastopol, and they're going to go inside 50 in the Brown direction. Did well, but Wilkinson was also up to the challenge. And Jeffrey out the back, read it best, dribbling kick, almost kicked a wonderful goal. Just hitting the right-hand post. That would have been brilliant.
He's a smart player, isn't he, boys? And yeah, clever to just try and slide that one through on the wet surface. Got the straight skid, but straight into the post, unfortunately, as Buckley's under the kicking duties, goes right down the eye, diddle with a thumping ball. It's off the footy. Sebastopol's players gone to ground. No free kicks as the umpire. We'll get back to the action with a clearing kick there coming from Curtin to a vacant forward 50. Of course, one man down, so it's going to make it easy here for Q to mop things up as they spread it wide to the outside, do East Point, but missing their target and sending it out in the full, and be free kick to Sebas on centre wing on the outside.
So Sebas are going to come back the other way. Mark taken, and they're going to go up towards 50, where Hutt was there but just couldn't quite hang on. Was able to get out a handball, although picking it up for East Point was McDonald's, and now they're able to exit. So Brodie Williams has the ball on the far broadcast side wing, and he has a man presenting in Joyce, but doing really nicely there for Sebastopol was
Yeah, I just want to talk about
James Curtin.
You talk about Jared Joyce for a second here. I just don't necessarily. I know he's new to the senior footy, but I don't like his starting position. Just constantly behind. I'd like to see him just be as the front man, and play in front as a traditional forward, and try to get to the footy's highest point, because he's got all the athletic traits to be a real handful for the defence.
And he's got a brilliant mark as well. Remember, he took 11 in round 9 against Melton last year. So when they go towards Joyce, just couldn't quite hang on. Was defended well, though. He gets the footy onto his left and is able to go round, but the kick is out on the full. He had a decent look at the goals there, Jared Joyce.
But it's simple. He's in front, so when he brings us to the front of the pack to his own advantage, or potentially bring his teammates in, it can be really fruitful for East Point going forward. So I know when you're on long searching lead, sometimes you can get caught out with the mismatched numbers, but just think traditionally he's been, in his early part of his career, been caught behind far too often for my liking.
Yes, play in front.
So Sebastopol come broadcast side, long ball here from Lockyer just to gain that territory. Lucas will arrive late with a spoil. Gets at the back, which is where the Borough wanted to get the fast footy going. Curtin slightly overrun it as he ushered it forward. Handball inside was good by East Point. They drill it inside forward 50.
There's Joyce.
Yeah, crashed the pack nicely. Almost split it open, to be fair. Kepler-Jones, underground hand pass. Somehow gets out here to Jesse Marshall. Keeps it alive. Off there to Dodd. Back to Kepler-Jones. He looks laterally, saw an option that he liked. He's got to be strong in the marking contest as Willems. He almost pulled it off as he engaged early, but bullets to turf numbers with Sebas. They try to exit through the middle by hand in the Gardner direction. Now he's got good wheels as he ran around to the left side, but the quarter-time siren will signal here an end of a very fascinating and, hot opening term, as we'll stick with the action. There's a bit of push and shove. We know Forbes is off. Sparrow one short on the ground, but we know these clubs don't like each other. Let's call plain and simple. 2019 grand final. They played each other. East Point got the chocolates. The rivalry just built and built ever since.
Absolutely. Well, that was an exciting first quarter, and there's some words exchanged at the break. The umpire just has to get in the middle, but it is Sebastopol 4-1-25, leading 2-1-13 East Point. Both sides had their moments in that quarter, Sam. What sticks out to you most?
I think it's just bang for your buck. It's as simple as that. That Sebas, have a bit more polish going forward. That's been able to, get a couple of goals through Forbes, Fletcher, and Luke Keel from some smart finishes. Like there hasn't not a night for the key forwards. It's not a night for the marking forwards. But what it is for the smalls, and all Sebas's smalls have hit the scoreboard, which is the most pleasing thing.
Absolutely, and East Point's goal kickers were Jacob Brown
and Sammy Q, of
and
course.
Sammy Q, yes, kicking his third career goal. Did you say? Yes. He's been a part of that back line of East Point, which has been so dominant down there with Merritt and Sammy Q. And
yeah, Liam Howard as the real focal points. But interesting to see Tony Lockyer just before they come into their main huddle, just pulled the group in closer. I think it's maybe just have a word about, just rein in a little bit. It's one thing to get up and about. Yes, it's around when it's excited, but you don't, they've been giving away a lot of silly free kicks and left the door slightly ajar from East Point, because it very easily could have been 4 goals to 1 a quarter time. They could have the ascendancy in what we're anticipating to be a low-scoring affair.
Absolutely. Tristan Ashmore, stats from that first quarter.
Yeah, boys, the only big one from me is East Point dominating the hitouts 15 to 11 and also +5 in the clearances. But just looking at how they're going forward, defenders from Sebastopol are really stepping up when it matters. Inside 50 is pretty even, East Point +2, but yeah, Sebastopol just going forward with a little bit more intent.
Okay, well, you've got Saturday night footy in the wet at Marty Bush Reserve. We're going to take a quick break. It is Sebastopol leading East Point by 12 points. Second quarter action about to get underway. If you're just joining us, it's Sebastopol leading by 12. Adam Forbes for the Borough is off with a yellow card, which means that's 15 minutes of game time. We've got a free kick straight away.
Yeah, free kick, I guess, from that in the quarter fracas. It's in the hands of Stevens.
Yeah, to Stevens, who will go give East Point the first inside 50 of the quarter, as it's knocked on by a Sebast player, but waiting down was Cairns, who will take the tackle. Now,
the question I have is they would have known East Point they were going to free kick there. With no 6-6-6, wouldn't you just send people in the forward line or behind the footy? Like, everyone went to their starting positions.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. Sometimes, I'm just saying, they're a little bit behind the 8 balls what I'm getting at. As we'll get back to the action here. We're hurried forward by Sebast, just trying to gain territory, which is the name of the game tonight. Quick kick forward there by Q's, been cut off by Banbury. He'll just dump a long high ball to the vacant centre wing on the outside. And this is where we'll see the lasso come into play. Out of bounds free kick will go the way of the Kangas.
Sam Young's favourite.
Oh, you got to get around it.
Beneficiary is going to be Glenwright McGuan, I believe.
Yeah.
We are 100 metres from the play, but that's all right. He goes long down the line. And mark taken, intercept mark by a Sebastopol player. And he goes up forward to one of the new Joey's recruits. Henderson, I believe it is. And he goes up to centre half forward to a 2-on-1. Couldn't quite get a mark out the back. Doing well there was Canny, got off a handball. William Stevens, clearing kick, didn't get much purchase on the footy. Now bouncing around, Joe Dodd tried to tap it on. He did all right. Glenwright McGuan couldn't take it cleanly. Sebastopol pick up the footy. Coming through was Hommelhoff, who gave a handball, and Sebastopol will get another look here, playing close with the boundary line. Wilkinson has to beat 2 and can't, and that might be a lasso. Umpires.
There'll be a conversation about it. I think the boundary umpire has signalled the lasso to start with, but the senior official is going to come and have a chat just to make sure there was no hands on it first. And it's also very close to the 50-metre arc, so of course only applies in between the arcs. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you don't know how the infamous now lasso works in local footy in season 2026.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a boundary throw-in, Sam Young.
Oh, he's just decided, bad luck champ, I'm overruling you and I'm going to get a ball in, so a bit of me time. As we'll get underway here at half forward for Sebast. Good tap to advantage there by Hutt just to get into open space. Shooting on the move there was Henderson coming through. Would have been wrong-sided on, but nevertheless. We'll go again, 60 from goal, territory with the Borough, and the scoreboard with the Borough. 4-1-25 leads to 1-13. Same margin as, of course, quarter time, as we're in the infancy of the second term here at the Marty Bush Reserve. One down the ruck there by Stevens, this time to the back. Handball comes corridor bound. Coming through nicely there was Fletcher. Just halved the contest more than anything. Merritt, clearing kick, will come back with interest. Long right foot ball will go into the hot spot for Sebast. Little Hales will be outnumbered in the air. Dutchy Edwards gave it off, and running a full tilt there was Fletcher. And on the non-preferred, it's hard to get his balance, and in the end, missed all sundry, sent it out on the full.
Out on the full, so Sebastopol, they still look dangerous when they go inside 50, and that one just couldn't convert the opportunity here. So East Point through Lucas, going to come out. New recruit from Cobden, won their best and fairest last year, goes up the line. Hacking it off the ground was Fraser. Bit of a foot race on in earnest, and the ball wins out for another boundary throw-in on true centre wing.
Yeah, I like the start to the game from Lucas, actually. As he's been able to roll off his own direct opponent at times and almost naturally generate a spare. Obviously, high touted prospects. Thought he was quiet and disappointing in round one. In their first game, which is a round 4 game brought forward. But in round 1 today, he's looking really accustomed at home in defence. As the Borough will get the ball moving. As Buckley was sending inside forward 50 with a long ball. Edwards in front, fisted behind there by Howard. Well done by the big fella though. Follow up with the tackle. String to the middle of the ground there was Jack Buckley, and he just looks a likely prospect. I like what he's bringing to the table with that headband too. Yes,
he's been very lively. He's got a fair bit of the footy. All the Joey's recruits have high raps. He's, of course, a strong league down there in Geelong. And that's been a free kick for a...
Well, that'd be bigger and stronger sometimes, That's the only thing I'd say Hutt would be asking.
Yeah, so, Stevens gets the win in the umpire's book over Hutt. So his kick was too low trajectory, though. And Sebastopol have recovered. So they're going to come back in now. Inside 50 with a long kick towards the left forward pocket. Waiting under and doing really well over the top with the fist. was Fraser, and the players, Canny, just let it.
Canny and Hanson
Could have picked it up.
absolutely had no interest at all there of getting that footy. They knew it was off hands. It wasn't going to be a lasso free kick either way. And just watched it roll around in circles, and we just had 5 seconds tick off the clock for no reason, because that's the problem with the rule. It might encourage that kind of behaviour. That's all I'm going to say.
So Stevens, the ball just got over the top of him, but Sebastopol in for a keel. He dished it off, and now having a look at the goals is McDonald, but he struck the wrong side of the footy, and that's going to spill out of bounds on the full, although had a chance there for Sebastopol to go and put it an 18-point lead, but East Point are going to come back the other way through Howard.
The long ball to the outside. They do, of course, have the numbers advantage to the Kangas for the opening few minutes. If you just join us, Adam Forbes off with a yellow card after kicking a couple of goals in the opening term. Brown, a full stretch, had fisted away by Wilkinson, who's been in the thick of things with the opposition as well, as the ball's gone out of bounds. And true centre wing on the outside will get a boundary throw. And I'll tell you who's really impressed me after missing a lot of last season through injuries, been Luke Keel. He's just polishing clean hands in these wet conditions. Well, you can see why he was a superstar at VFL level, one of the best they've ever played at the Roosters, in my humble opinion, and showing his class today for Sebas.
So we're back underway here, just overrunning it was an East Point player, but going inside now, closer to East Point's 50, but we're going to get a ball up, and true centre half forward here.
So this is the thing as well. You've got the spare player, of course, naturally, with the one player at the ground. Fraser's just standing in no man's land at half back. Got to get in dangerous spots if you're going to be the spare, and at least help East Point. If they won't win this, if they lose this clearance, they can at least have the opportunity to repel it back inside forward 50.
And Rodomonis, with his cumbersome frame, was just able to bounce off some players, but couldn't effectively get out of disposal. So Sebastopol, if Fletcher can pick it up cleanly, can go the other way, although it spills out. A few players fumbling. Glenroy McGuan gets the dumping kick now for East Point to send it to the half-forward flank, but that's going to be a lasso.
But the thing is, the other thing as well about generating the spare, you look at who the player is as the individual. Now, Joe Fraser is a good, fine young player, but he averages less than 6 disposals a game in senior footy. So you want to make sure that person's going to be damaging and get the footy. I just don't think he's going to make a major impact, especially when he's standing as a loose at full back. It just, to me, is a really bizarre coaching move. As Little Hales halves the contest, gets the crumbs, and he can send it forward. Now, the only man will be home will be Smoking Joe, and he'll take the mark on his chest. So he says, cop that, young, I'm all over this. High ball towards the outside. Should step for Merritt. In the end, he elects to fist it forward and gain territory. This might be a good case for insufficient attempt. The other one I was going to say throw it in, but Merritt didn't grab it in handball in fear that the last disposal went out of bounds. Be one of those free kicks. He just knocked it on with a fist instead.
Tristan Ashmore, have you got anything for us? Our
Yeah,
stats
last 6 inside 50s Sebas boys, so keen to see how that plays out.
Thank you. As we get back underway, Hutt had front spot, just absolutely volleyball spiked it. Although on the other end was an East Point player, got dumped in the tackle. Glenwright McGuan working over it, although his man has done really well to
in the back.
Take him strongly in the tackle, but free kick's going to go the way of Glenwright McGuan for in the back.
Yeah, he's a likely prospect, of course, nephew of the great Mick McGuan.
He is. He kicked 21 goals last year across 13 games for the Rebels, so he went back to Lucas, and Lucas goes short with a neat kick to Howard, who nearly fumbled the slips catch, but just manages to hold on, and that was in a precarious spot.
Wouldn't put Liam in the Lucas court, and let's put it that way with that effort.
No.
Not if you've got Zach Kennedy in there. Shout out, Zach.
Yes. Kennedy.
As Kelly goes up forward, up the ground, but down nicely of Sebastopol. Here's Buckley, just fakes one, fakes two, then gives a handball off to Curtin. Curtin has to work fast, and he gives off a handball. Dinky little kick didn't work. Well, piggyback.
WrestleMania started early.
Yeah, it's a bit of an AA attitude adjustment there in centre wing there.
It's prime time. We've just ticked off to 7 p.m. Sam Young's grabbing his popcorn.
I'm up and about now. Centre wing off and running again. Big fist there by Hutt, while read by Willems, vice captain this year, and looks very accomplished at the level as he just rushed the handball forward and just hitting hope. That seems to be the aim of the game. Territory. Tackle pressure's up. I imagine the tackle count will be high for both sides in this contest. One down in the ruck there by Stevens. Again, Keel with a bit of class coming through. Willems through the body around. Kipper Jones going nowhere. Another ball in centre wing as it's reached a bit of a stalemate this turn. No scores registered at all, despite the territory dominance by Sebastopol. Haven't got that bang for the buck they were getting in the opening term.
So we're back underway again. Players just fighting over it, although Sebastopol going to come out with the clearance. This is Fletcher just tapping it on, but waiting down was Joe Fraser. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. Fletcher stayed with it. Now goes in against Howard, and they both opted for the body. No one picking up the footy. Now Rodomonis comes in and says, I'll deal with that, and just gets wrapped up nicely, which when you're tackling Mika Rodomonis, you've got to tackle him like a bear.
Oh, he's a bull out of a gate, isn't he, Mika? I mean, he's a superstar, MRO. He's great to see. He's at his dominant best in season 2026. He has been for over a decade in this competition.
16 contested possessions against Bacchus Marsh last week, so we're back underway here. Sending it forward to the top of the square for Sebastopol in a dangerous spot. They've got numbers waiting down, although couldn't quite. Howard just says, I'm getting this out of here. Kicking it out, hasn't quite cleared D50 yet as Q just lets the ball run out, which is probably a decent result for East Point.
I think that's the thing of the footy now with the lasso rule. So Howard naturally would dump that kick towards the line, but in fear that it would skid on, go out of bounds in between the arcs, it'd be a free kick to Sebas. It goes more corridor bound, which is dangerous, which obviously then can bring in the turnover and score opportunity for Sebas.
It's underway again, both ruckmen fighting hard with each other. Reading at best was Joyce, and he's been taken high, so he's going to have the free kick, defensive 50, and bring them out. He looks left, he's got Howard on wide, and he thinks about using him, and now he does. Kick has to be good, and it was just satisfactory on the bounce. Howard did well, although coming through, couldn't quite dish off the handball, and it was too hot for Lucas, and Sebastopol are able to regain the footy, but wrapped up in a tackle, and it's not the defensive 50 you wanted there.
I reckon that
Joyce.
15 minutes is up as well now, and even numbers, so East Point unable to capitalise from the fact that they had the extra player, and Sebastopol done all the attacking without it. Umpire's bit of free kick. He's going to say high contact. It was one of those 50-50 ones that could have easily been high contact or contact below the knees. How does the umpire see it this time? It'll favour Sebastopol, a shot on goal coming up. Short ball over the top. Henderson the target. Couldn't quite hang on. Spins out of the move. Spins a blind turn again, and he's gone. Umpire let it well on. Must have been bumped out in the tackle in the end. McDonald, hand pass, ricocheted back in towards traffic. Going to be a hot footy. No, if the circling unable to gather, we'll get a ball up from 50. Short kicks in the wet, not the option probably, Tris?
Yeah, it just seems like East aren't getting any territory and don't know what to do in the conditions. So Sebas looking more dangerous going forward, but East just can't seem to get it forward to centre.
So Felix Henderson did the full ring of Rosie there as we get back underway, and Kelly's just able to get a boot to ball, and Jones couldn't quite, so Sebastopol thrown around in the tackle, not quite 15. Keel has a look at the goals but can't get it there, puts it to the top of the square, and nice work from Joe Fraser just to fist it out of bounds for a boundary throw in the right forward pocket of Sebastopol's end of the ground, which is the city end of the Marty Bush Reserve. Sebastopol leading 4-1-25 by 12 points to East Point 2-1-13.
Yeah, the Barra mids are getting dangerous. Likes of Keel, Buckley, been able to get goal side a couple of opportunities. They've had it in this term. They haven't been able to maximise, but they continue to get that access to the footy. Watch out, East Point, you're in trouble. Knocked down the ruck there by the Kangas defence, and maybe a free kick not paid. Umpire let it go. Snap around the body comes from Notha and Sebas, and in the end on the goal line, punched through by Lucas. As the scoreboard now reads, finally a change from quarter time. It's 4-2, the Borough. They lead East Point 2-1-13. And for all those playing at home with their abacus, you can just double East Point's score now with Sebas.
It's good you listen to maths class, young.
Yeah, well, Tristan taught me that.
As Merritt comes out of defensive 50. Glenroy McGuan raised high, just couldn't quite hold on. Geez, they were in his bread basket, but just slipped out. It would have been a mark of the night contender.
Yeah, we would have seen that one on the socials all week long if you had held on to that one.
9 entries in a row now for Sebas.
Thank you, Tristan. As we're back underway, working hard over the top of the footy is McDonald. Managed to get out of handball, but it's gone to Rodomonis, who this man eats clearances for breakfast and sends it up to centre half forward, although knock who's home.
Yes.
Jack Buckley.
Yeah, he's been super and drives this one towards half forward. Wilkinson with the 1-2, don't you mind? And you'll hate this, the veteran does well. Plays on the centre half forward, right foot kick. He's got Gardner slipping out the back, and the kick is perfect. Well played by Buckley to start, off to Wilkinson, now Gardner, and to finish the deal. He maybe wish he had his time again in game number 3, just to slow down, take your time, think your way through it. He misses across the face. But for the listeners at home, the viewers at home, the reality is, we talk about 9 consecutive inside, now 10 consecutive inside 50s. You'd think it'd be blowing a gale to the left of screen. It is as still as it can be, and the Borough just owning territory.
And Seth Gardner in his third game had a chance to really hurt Joe Carmody there, but we come out now through Jackson Merritt, who goes up long, and geez, Hommelhoff used his body really nice against the bigger Glenwright McGuan. He's going to send Sebastopol back into the left forward pocket. Minari has to work a few under, but can't. Coming out the back, and Gardner, I thought he nearly kept that in. We had a pretty good view up here in the balcony, but umpire says otherwise.
It's 11 entries now, boys.
11.
Shout out Jason Dunstall.
Well, allegedly 11.
Allegedly.
We'll go inside forward 50. Neutrally one down the ruck. Little Hales though follows up. Dribbling kick to goal. Goalkeeper on the line will save the day, which is Lucas. He tries a barrel and he gets absolutely nothing. Home off again with the body. Couldn't complete the mark. Ball still alive inside forward 50 for the Borough. Got to be careful not to hatch on this one. And low. Yeah, he's going to point the wrong way first to the umpire. He's going to go the way of Ben Hutt. Just confused me for a second there. I thought, hang on a minute. Had to be free kick, Sebas, and it is. And the captain has it. He'll shoot right on the paint on a 45-degree angle. But maybe he has the wheels though. He's not a thumping, religious kick at the footy, is the skipper. Can get the first of the second term. Right for kicks on his way. Gets the distance, but maybe in trying to do so, he's incurred a bit of issues with his accuracy. Scraped it through for a minor score. 4-4-28 on the scoreboard for the Borough. They lead East Point 2-1-13 after 12 inside 50s in a row. Have the Kangas weathered enough of a storm here, boys, and can try to get something against the run of play and get their game going, but it doesn't look likely at the minute.
No, they just need to slow the tempo down. We know they're so dangerous when they're switching the ball, taking uncontested marks and just working it up forward in transition. So Merritt opts to go the left-hand side of the ground this time and spills out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
I talked about in the opening quarter about, at one point Sebastopol, when they survived 7 entries, try and just find a mark and find a bit of territory. East Point are in that dire straits now where they just need to get the foot in their attacking half and try to hold a stoppage and just hold, not necessarily generate a score, but just hold some territory so they're not just fighting for their lives.
So we're back underway here, close to the boundary line, and we're back to another stoppage in virtually the same spot.
And there's ways you can do that. It's looking at behind the footy, maybe getting some guys with a bit more capacity to run and carry the ball. So this is maybe an opportunity to get Brown into the game. He's wasted a full forward. Get him behind the footy for 5 minutes, try to get some run out of him.
So Stevens against Little Hales in the ruck. Stevens won the hit down. And we've got another ball up. Kelly was just taken in the tackle. So underway again. No ruckman really getting a big piece. Swooping through was McDonald, who sent the kick forward, and Sebastopol can come back the other way now from centre half back up towards the centre half forward region. We're working tightly again with the boundary line, and that's been knocked out of bounds for a boundary throw-in, not a lasso.
No lasso this
time. Off a hand.
The whip's gone away for that passage of play, but he'll be out again, don't you worry, in full force. So in between the arcs, really, just in between half forward and centre wing on the outside. Boundary throw will favour Little Hales. And I think in the end the umpire wasn't happy with the young fella. I mean, tough for all customs here, the wet footy. Bit of dew as well, wet ground. Just slipped out of the Dukes, and we'll get a restart with a throw-in. Might be the old under-10s thing, we bring the boundary umpire in 10 metres just so he can throw it in to make it a real even contest. That might be a suggestion, that's all I'm going to say. One in the ruck there by Little Hales. Come through was Fletcher, who's been lively. Back to his great mate in Cooper Little Hales as he thumps it towards half forward. Merritt got the fist. Didn't get out of bounds. Edwards' handball ricocheted off the bottom of the direct defender, and out of bounds it went. Can you get a lasso for a headbutt? That's what I want to know. But it was inside 50 regardless.
13 entries now in a row for Sebas boys.
That is wild. Tris, that is wild.
Allegedly.
The fact is, though, they only generated, 3 points with that dominance and territory, and that'd be the frustrating thing now. After being so efficient in the opening quarter, it's kind of gone the other way for Sebas.
So Little Hales knocked it down. Coming on nicely was Hutt, I think it is, who sends it into a dangerous spot. Over the top, Lucas couldn't quite, although working down at ground level, couldn't quite convert. I think it was at Edwards.
Yeah.
Yes, just missing to the left. Listen, Joey's recruit, one of the 3 trios. He kicked a goal in that losing grand final last year against Mary's up the Midland Highway, and has found himself now in blue and yellow. So Merritt is going to come out. Kick to that left-hand side of the ground again. Quite a contest. No one can mark, and ball's been brought down to ground level. They're now spat out, and now it's been held in. We're going to get a stoppage and a ball up.
East Point desperate to hold their shape as well around the footy. They've been able to try to hold the width here at the Marty Bush Reserve with their wingers as well. So maybe another option is to roll that guy into the midfield as an extra body and try to actually win the footy that's at the source and then naturally gain territory from that. So could be an option here for Marshall to roll up here, not hold the width, and again try to generate more blokes around the footy and then naturally win your footy forward from there. So I'll go back again. Early fight from Stevens, Little Hales. Neutrally one down. Stevens landed heavily. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He's a bit slow to get back to his feet. Hutt tries to extract. kick was partially smothered as it heads towards the boundary line. East Point able to keep it alive for the moment, and off hands, out of bounds. Ball in centre wing. No goal scored in this second term yet. What's it up now to 14 inside 50s in a row?
Yeah, 14 now, Youngie. Just seems like the half-backs for Sebas, so Banbury, Buckley and Lockyer is absolutely dominating, building that wall across forward to centre.
Simple but yet effective.
So underway, Joyce gets decent purchase on the hit out. Coming through on hands and knees there nicely was Canny. Got off a handball, but Sebastopol recover now. Through Buckley, I think that is.
Yeah.
Kicking up the ground and doing well there was Jacob Wilkinson. He's nearly a veteran now, Wilkinson, but East Point just trying to gather it, but just can't quite keep clean hands, and Adam Forbes is tackled over the boundary line for another stoppage.
And again, they came out the front of stoppage East Point and they just ran into that brick wall again. Just rebound straight away. I think it was Henderson involved getting around to that left boot and just gaining territory and gaining a forward for Sebas, and that's why they got the lead on the scoreboard.
So Joyce and Little Hales in the ruck, the 10 and 11. Little Hales won it and just centred it a bit, but East Point able to gather the footy, but another stoppage.
I think he's paid a throw.
Sorry, it's a free kick for a throw. Yeah, you're right. So that's going to go in the way of Sebastopol and Jacob Wilkinson, I think. Who's going to send it long inside 50 to the right forward pocket, although presenting best was Sam Lucas, who did really well, and he's been a key defending recruit. Joe Carmody will be happy with that. Back to Fraser.
That's the kick that's been hurting him all night, the one outside 50.
It is, and
Ben Atlas had them, he was outside against Slater then, he just dragged an arm. And Slater, well, he milked it, he went to ground, but, wins the free kick. And now they get an opportunity to send something and gain some territory with a stop ball at half back.
They do. He was looking back, but now decides to go down the line and, holding nicely almost there. Was his cock, but couldn't quite. Kelly wheels around. Might work out for Kepler-Jones, who can send him inside 50, and Brown's presenting nicely. He read it perfectly. Now, he's got a vacant goal square if he wants to go fast. He's probably too far out to score, and he's just going to slow it down and have a look as players flood East Point's forward 50. So Brown.
He used the thumping kick, but in these conditions, this is going to take Brown his best and some.
He is. I've seen him kick it a long, long way before. He had Right McGuan in the goal square, who of course provides good height and does sniff a goal, but he's going to elect to have a shot, Jacob Brown. So he'll have to kick from 55 on a 45-degree angle. Comes in, wheels around, and now decides to put it to the top of the goal square with quite a low trajectory kick. But Sebastopol, good enough to mark.
So Sebastopol headed towards the outside. It was Lockyer who started the chain. So look to go through corridor through Buckley. Clearing ball was a beauty. Didn't have to break stride. And now Sebastopol have an open 50 to aim at themselves. They hold, they wait, they press, and Forbes is at the back, and Forbes loves it at the back.
How good is he tonight?
And he plays on immediately. Almost stuffed it up, Forbes, but you kick the goal, son. 3 for him. He's a star. One of the best smalls in the competition.
A very lucky man that worked out.
He took the mark pretty much the top of the goal square, and he tried to sneak his way through, and he did. He got caught, but he got boots the ball, and look, he's a human highlight reel tonight. He's kicked 3 snags in wet conditions. He's been sent off. He's come back on. First opportunity inside 450. Mark, goal.
Absolutely, he's a live wire. He's quick. And he nearly was too cheeky there, though. It was. We've seen one brain fade today earlier.
Oh, look, get an opportunity to go back and watch the tape with Biggie New, and that was something else. That's all I can say.
It was anyway. So that takes Sebastopol to 5-5-35, leading East Point 2-1-13 as we're back underway here. Running on nicely with real pace was Banbury, and he's been taken in the back, so he's going to get a free kick. So Sebastopol can really hurt East Point here if they can manufacture another goal. So Banbury goes inside.
Oh,
nice mark, Minari. And that...
Fans are calling for it.
Crowd really wants 50, as I'm sure you can hear through the mic, but Minari says I'm going to play him quickly and kicks from 45 out. Going for home, just missing to the right is Ash Minari.
Ooh.
Takes the score to 5-6-36. Sebastopol, East Point 2-1-13.
Well, it's clear they don't like each other, these two sides. No love lost. As Merritt will come broadcast side with a long thumping kick. Hart in between the pack of 3 or 4. And then he's taken to the ground. And that one is 50. And the umpire's gone. It is all happening. You don't want to run to MRO. You won't get up quickly. But Hart will go from centre wing inside 50 to get a shot on goal. After their appeals for a free kick from Minari to get the 50-minute penalty and shot on goal on the goal line. They didn't get that, the Borough fans. They get this one. And in game 150, Toby Hart will line up from 45.
1 goal 5 from 18 entries tonight. You'd be hoping he kicks this for your Tony Lock here in the Sebas box.
So,
Toby up.
Toby Hutton, game 150. Comes in. Kicks good off the boot, but it's to the left. Missing. You always want to see milestone games give themselves a goal, but just couldn't quite convert. Toby Hutt.
He's been a great player for a long time for Sebastopol for obvious reason. 150 games says that in itself. But one kick in his armour has always been his set shot goal kicking. He has occasionally had a tendency to struggle to get between those two big sticks.
Words there from the ex-Sebastopol man, Sam Young, calling the footy here on Saturday night. We're back underway here. Ash Manari just fumbled the footy and now has to go back with a handball into the fray. Sebastopol going to come back. Cut off nicely by Slater, though. Coming through was by Forbes, and Slater took him in a high tackle.
The umpire was quick on that.
It was a crunching tackle, and to be fair, I mean, the contact was high, correct decision by the umpire, but also the fend out went out by Forbes, so if he didn't call high tackle, he was going to be in trouble with the new interpretation of the rules. So he'll be going for number 4 in a low-scoring affair. I tell you, this man is lighting up the Marty Bush reserve. It's not the lights here, it's him. He is him. Adam Forbes from inside forward 50. Opens up the arc a little bit. Lines back. Let the crowd do the work. And he turns and said, I really am him. 4 goals for Forbes.
Adam Forbes, that is brilliant footy. And he loves a big moment. So much that the coaches had to pull him to the bench.
Well, that's going on the YouTube of the mother. I can tell you that much. Every week we see the highlights go on there of Forbes, but there's plenty of them. That's what I can say after tonight. 4 goals.
Sometimes they ask, can you do it in a cold, windy night in Stoke? I'm asking if he can do it in a cold night at Marty Bush, and Forbes can.
Yes, he can.
Good FIFA reference. So we're back underway now. Sebastopol leading by 30. They have all the momentum. Over it was Nofa. So although handball's scrubby and Glenmark McGawan couldn't quite pick it up in greasy conditions. Working on hands and knees now a few players, although Keel's going to give Sebastopol another look, although no one's home but Sam Lucas, who just dropped the mark. And we're going to get a boundary throw in, and if he could have that play again, he would really want that one back, Sammy Lucas.
Sebas 1 or 2 goals away from really blowing this margin now. 35 goals now.
And we keep saying it's going to be a low-scoring affair. It has that feeling with the wet conditions. I mean, at the minute, Forbes has doubled East Point score of his own boot. Inside 50 for the Borough. No, it's a great tackle. Made a career of that. 150 club games. Debuted as a 15-year-old for Sebas and the Ones. Kicked 3 goals. Went back at the 16s. Single-handedly dragged the side across the line. Oh, I guess I helped too. Back on the way. Inside forward 50. Quick kick coming from it right to the top of the goal square. Lucas as the goalkeeper.
He did well.
Nice little save in the top corner there. Just parried it over the bar and threw for a minor score.
Yeah, Manuel Neuer says hello.
Yes, I was thinking more David De Gea, but...
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So Brownie's been swung back.
Had to happen.
Magnus have been moved, yep. Says, I'm kicking it long, gents, down the far broadcast side wing, the Mount Clear side, and taking a nice mark. There is Glenwright McGawan, who goes long 50-metre kick to centre half forward. The flank, although his intended target just slipped over. I think it was Jeffrey, and Sebastopol going to come back. So Banbury wearing a glove tonight. Let's hope it's not one of Travis Cloke's sticky ones, but Sebastopol going to come in. Hommelhoff takes a nice mark at centre half forward. Wants to play on quickly to Stewart. Did well. Got it over to Ben Hutt. Ben Hutt now got it over to Holmes. Holmes dealt with one. Got it off back to Hommelhoff, who worked well. Send it to the top of the square. Flying up was Lucas. Couldn't quite. Down at ground level doing well was Wilkinson. Trying to look for Little Hales. Couldn't quite get him. East Point defending with might. And they've been super gallant there, and they've got a clear and kick through Slater.
Yeah, unkind bounce there for Phillips coming through. Maybe opportunity here, ground level for his cock. Numbers will survive here for Sebas. Phillips in game 50 did well. Actually, it was Curtin, my bad. Sends it inside 50. Opportunity maybe for Henderson. Let's slip through his grass. Handball top there. Right, East Point was in a hurry. Manari slipped through his grass. Wilkinson, hard as a cat's head, came through. Merritt's kick was smothered. Hutt, right foot kick around the body. and couldn't quite pop it through as it's marked deep in the fence by the East Point defender, and Sam Luke has been clearly their best this afternoon.
I was going to say, he's really finding a purple patch now. He's reading the play really well. So he goes with a scrubby kick that he'd want back. Although it nearly worked out to Canny, although spilling at the back, I think it was Lockyer who's been taken in the tackle. So ball up, and if you're Joe Carmody, Sam, there's a fair bit to discuss the halftime break, isn't there?
There just seems to be a lack of, want around the ball carrier as well. I think there's a few boys I'll be asking to lift and just put your head over the footy.
That's entry number 23 for Sebast there to 3 for East Point. So definitely Joe Carmody. Alarming signs for them.
There he is. So
and with no 666 as well, they're just getting bullied, and then the ball just keeps continuing to ricochet and ping pong back inside 50 for the Ballarat.
So we go again. Hutt got it down, and now he's got his own footy. Releases Banbury, although Banbury was spun in the tackle and handball straight to Sammy Q. Have a dumping kick. Joyce couldn't quite, although coming through with pace was young Kepler Jones, who he's going to run onto it now and follow up. He got his kick smothered, although Kepler Jones slipped over. And Jeffrey could have been awarded a free kick.
Well, again, it was one of those ones that could have been a free kick for high contact or contact below the knees. The umpire actually chose on this occasion to go with neither. And that was a massive win by Kepler Jones there. Tony Lockyer is arguably still the best intercept defender in the competition. He halved the contest at ground level, and East Point are able to get a bit of territory going forward here. But Hutt has something to say that. High ball down the line. Lucas again with that double fister. Clever knock on there by Gunn into his own advantage. Now he's socked up the deck, and boys, here we go. Bit of lasso! And free kick will go the way of East Point.
Jesse Marshall be the beneficiary, the recruit from Buninyong, and right on the siren here at halftime. Sebastopol at home in front of a nice vocal crowd. Under lights lead. East Point 6-8-44. East Point 2-1-13. Sam Young, quickly just before we go to a break, halftime thoughts. Sebastopol have had the inside 50 entries. They've just looked a lot more threatening, haven't they?
Yeah, well, 14 scoring shots to 3 tells the story on the scoreboard. A little bit more accuracy from the Borough, and they've run away from this game by 10 goals. It's simple as that. They've dominated territory. Their midfield's working harder, and they've just been. To be honest, I'm a bit worried about Joe Carmody. I feel like he's just been outcoached by Tony Lockyer at times. I mean, the reality is, you look at the spares. Like East Point had a spare behind the footage of Joe Fraser. You then look at Sebastopol spare, Buckley, Lockyer, Banbury. These guys have the ability then to just really set up an attack. So I think he's missed a trick in the box, and I'll give full points to Tony Lockyer in the box. He's done a fine job, and the big guns for East Point, Rob Thomas, Omers, Brown, Dodd, they just haven't had the impact that they need to have.
Tristan Ashmore, stats?
I am looking at Hutt. He has had a massive second quarter there. He's winning it from the source of origin. He's giving it to his midfielders. Midfielders are going forward and finding entries. Bang for buck, that's probably where the concern is for Sebastopol. They kicked that quarter 2 goals, 7 from at least 25 entries. So that's really the telling point. East Point they cannot get the ball past halfway. It's quite alarming.
Well, bang for buck, you heard it there first. We're going to take a quick break. It is Sebastopol 6-8-44, leading East Point 2-1-13 here at the Marty Bush Reserve. Yes, welcome back to the Marty Bush Reserve, where we've got Saturday night footy here under lights. It's wet, blustery, greasy conditions as Sebastopol leading 6-8-44 to East Point 2-1-13 as players come out back onto the ground. All East Point players come out. Mick and Rodimer Onus is last. We're going to go around the grounds from today. Lake Wendouree and Redan, a clash that many were excited for. It was Redan well and truly getting the chocolates, 24-8, 152 to Lake Wendouree's 8-12-60. Lockie Bond kick 6 over to Mars Stadium between Ballarat and North Ballarat. It was a very, very close tussle between both sides. Ballarat led pretty much the whole game and just stuck fat at the end, winning 12-11-83 to North Ballarat 11-4-70. Alex Keefe was monumental. Darley and Sunbury at Darley Park was a really close win, a narrow win for Darley, 10-10-70 over Sunbury's 10-8-68. Melton and Bacchus Marsh was also a very close game at McPherson Park, with Bacchus Marsh getting that one at 10-5-65 over Melton's 8-12-60. And over to the netball, I've got scores for that one as well from today. It was Lake Wendouree over Redan, 48-31 goals. North Ballarat, 60-30 over Ballarat. Darley getting the edge over Sunbury, 70-37. Melton, 28, losing to Bacchus Marsh, 62. And over here it is Sebastopol, 49-20 East Point.
Yeah, it looks like that game has finished, but I just wonder how the E grade went, because that's where I really shine when it comes to the netball. But getting back to the footy action here, I mean, what a fascinating opening half of footy it was. I think there were a lot of learnings out of the coach's box, boys. I don't know about you. When you look at the way Joe Carmody was unable to really find a response from his players, like a guy that's, to take him to the big dance 2 years ago, yeah, they've got a lot of, younger guys, in the infancy of the senior career, but there's still a core group there in Merritt, retirement owners, Canny, Brown, Dodd, Howard. They've played a lot of senior footy in recent years for East Point, and it just felt like there was no response, able to get from, the boys at the source, where Sebas behind the footy looked really strong. Lockyer, just marshals those troops so good with her. And the pleasing thing is here on field with Tony is you look at his game today, he probably hasn't had the influence that we can expect from Tony Lockyer because he hasn't had to have it. And he's their preeminent player. The ability now with the recruiting Edwards forward of the footy, having Henderson and Buckley through the midfield, it's allowed Tony to go behind the ball and be that quarterback. When he was at North Ballarat and the Roosters, that was what he did. He quarterbacked that halfback line. He marshalled the troops, and he's become the leader and the player that he is now. So to have him back at his home and position across halfback, that's only going to relate to fruitful results for the Borough in season 2026.
Don't forget how tough it is to be a playing coach as well. He's the only one in the league that's doing it. I think it's becoming less common now in local footy, but he's able to see the game super well through his lens while also having to worry about his own playing ability as well.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who's also so courageous and has been through his own injury issues as well in recent years. So he puts his body on the line. It'd be so easy for him to say, look, my body's shagged, bar, like I can be the coach, but I can't be the player. But he continues to front up every week. He really is the heartbeat of this footy club, and you see it just from the way he controls things across that half-back line in full force.
I'm going to get to Tristan Ashmore for some stats from that first half. Obviously, at half-time, Joe Carmody has had to try and say something to edify his group. But Tristan, hit us with some of those first half stats from this game.
Yeah, it was all on the inside 50 count for Sebas. Had 25 in that second quarter to East Point's 3. So Joe Carmody will be looking at how can we get the ball past forward to centre and find some entries deep in the forward 50, because his forwards are being absolutely deprived down there. Hit-outs, Hutt is having an absolute field day. Just the inexperience of Stevens really showing up there. But Hutt will continue to do what he does and get his ball to his midfielders. Centre clearances, there's not enough goals to report on the centre clearances, but clearances once again, Sebas. Keen to see how this third quarter goes. Hopefully East can get the ball forward.
And I think it has to be noted from that first half, the main protagonist, Adam Forbes. He's kicked 4. He got a yellow card towards the end of the first quarter and spent 15 minutes off the ground, but Youngie, he has been an absolute live wire tonight.
Oh, he's been enormous, hasn't he? Like, his ability to draw a crowd every time the footy's in his area. Obviously, we know how smart he is around the goal face as well, at creating the most of his opportunities. He's kicked, 94 goals and now game 60, so he's been going, nearly almost a goal and a half a game in his senior footy career. One of the products from the Mount Clear Footy Factory, comes into Sebas and really has made a name of himself as, I think, arguably the best small forward in the competition. And this is a guy that, like, you look from the outside looking in, if you don't know the person, you think, why is he not getting big money to go play in the midfield in the Central Highlands? Why is he not, becoming that sort of player? because the role he can play for Sebastopol as a forward is far greater than what he can do out there in that competition. So he's a superstar. He's been best on ground in the opening half, and if he continues, well, I think Kelly's going to have a very long video to cut during the week.
Yes, I think you're right. And just quickly before we get underway, Tristan's got some AFL scores for us as well. Tristan?
Yeah, gather around in Adelaide today, boys. Started off with North Melbourne hosting Brisbane at Barossa. Brisbane did win that game 92-66. Second game of the day, we saw Essendon take on Melbourne. Essendon surprisingly won that by 45 points, 113-68. And the game that's just finished, Sydney versus Gold Coast at Norwood Oval. Sydney, 14 goals, 16-100, beat Gold Coast, 9 goals, 14-68. The game that's just started, Hawthorn, the Doggies. Hawthorn have kicked 1 goal, 2 to Western Bulldogs, no score.
Thank you very much, Tristan. Now as just final trainers get off the ground. Sam Young has got 11 Ballarat Football Netball League Grand Finals. He's going to get us underway here for the second half.
Yeah, looking forward to getting the second half underway here. Sebas have a 31-point lead on the scoreboard. Can East Point find a pulse, find a response? It all starts in the middle. Stevens does get the first tap, and they'll get the first clearance. Perfect start. Tick 1. Kelly inside 50, half the contest and brought it to ground. Sebas had numbers at the full of the pack. Lockyer on cue, gives it off to Stewart. Draws the man with the hand pass and gives it to Holmes. And Holmes thumps a long ball towards the half-forward flank. Big fly there by Edwards. Couldn't quite complete the mark on his chest. Rebound coming. MRO, high ball. In front's Joyce, where you like to see him. Was a chop in the arms. Umpire said no. Wilkinson came in hard. Umpire position perfectly, says the contact was high. And Jared Joyce, the new JJ, taking over from Jordy Johnson, that number 11, will send it inside 50. Curtin did well the spoil, bring it to ground. Hiscock, handball into the corridor. Canny, look away ball, turnover. And an opportunity for Banbury off half back.
Sebastopol come back the other way. Jack Banbury sends it to centre forward, flying high. Couldn't quite take the mark, was Edwards, but waiting down low was Cooper Littlehales, who goes long into the left forward pocket for Sebastopol. And ball trickling towards the line, and now it does just fall out about 30 metres out from goal in that left forward pocket. But a decent start there from East Point. They got the first clearance and just couldn't quite convert on the scoreboard, and Sebastopol now have the chance.
They've had almost as many entries in the first 90 seconds as what they did last quarter, so positive signs there.
There you go, Tristan Ashmore.
Well, it was only up from there, wasn't it, see? So.
Well, we're back underway here. Sebastopol's 50, trying to grab out of the ruck was hard, couldn't quite. Got a little dinky kick on the ball, but East Point are able to get the dumping kick. I think it's with Slater. Goes long in the Joyce direction, has to work 2 or 3 Sebast players and kicks it off the ground, but that is going to be a lasso free kick.
Lasso!
Grab your horses, and Sebastopol going to come back the other way. So the beneficiary of the kick is going to be Jack Buckley.
Well, interesting to see if he can try to open up the ground here. He looks like he can play straight lines, but Sebastopol were set up for the switch if he wanted to go that direction. Buckley long towards half forward, fisted off hands by East Point. Look up that back line there through Q's. Piercing ball to centre wing's going to be a tough one to mark, and a nice ball arriving late. The bar will set out of play. I think it was Buckley again, actually, the man that got in front of Joyce there. Just to fist it out of bounds, ball in, true centre wing on the outer side. Scoreboard reads 6 goals, 8-44. That's Sebastopol at home, leading East Point 2-1-13. It's Super Saturday here in the Ballarat Footy League.
He's been good tonight, Buckley, very live. Just played 7 games of footy last year for St Joey's, but he's back this year, committed to the bar. So they're going to get the clearance, Sebastopol, although working tightly, I think. It was Wilkinson who spun around a few and then got the kick towards centre half forward, and it can be on here if they just tap it to their advantage, but can't quite. Taking in a strong tackle, though, was Slater, I think. Sebastopol, few bodies working over it. No one can cleanly get a possession, and I think we're going to have a ball up as the footy know. Now it spits out, and we're back underway. Sebastopol, they're 40 out from goal. Working around a few there was Forbes. Trying to get it out there now is Hutt, who gives a nice kick outwards for Holmes. Sits nicely, puts to the top of the square, and he's got a man who's taken a mark in quite a striking position. Not point blank range, but it should be a relatively simple kick for Jed Hommelhoff, who was in the right place at the right time.
It was a great play by Holmes too. He held his width. That was the key to that play. He didn't get sucked into the contest where his direct opponent, Hiscock, did. So he stayed out. He got the ball when it finally spat out. His kick was ugly at the boot, but to the right position, Hommelhoff in front took the mark.
So Hommelhoff, the boy from Bendigo, comes in, starts his trot. Shouldn't miss from here, you'd think, and he doesn't. It's straight through the middle. Goal umpire doesn't move. So Sebastopol get the first of the second half. They move to 7-8-50, leading East Point 2-1-13, and worrying signs for Joe Carmody once again.
Yeah, you're certainly right there, Sammy. I mean, to get the opening clearance and get some momentum forward, you thought, okay, cool. Whatever message he gave them at the halftime break, positive tick awesome start. Then to see the response when Sebas go forward, a little bit more structured in their play, and that's been the key. Holmes holds his width on occasion, generates the score. Whereas I feel just East Point, I'm not playing to any structure. It feels a little bit undisciplined at times, just the way they're setting up around the footy. We'll go back underway here. And in the end, we'll get a ball up. Fascinating that it was East Point, of course, played last week against Bacchus Marsh. Just made the one change. No Fraser Mullen this week.
Gee, he was good last week.
He was one of their best.
He had a brilliant first quarter.
Back on the way inside the middle of the Marty Bush Reserve. Good handball was spat wide there by the Borough as they drive the forwards full forward, and the mark is taken. Play on, line them up, kick a goal. And no, they missed this time. But again, just worrying danger signs for East Point as Sebas cheated out of the contest, got the mark and shot on goal. Just couldn't get between the big sticks on that occasion.
So Jackson Merritt with a long kick towards centre wing. Flying high was Kelly, couldn't hold on. Ball just in dispute and players grapple again, and it's another throw up on the wing. Umpire holds the ball off and gets play underway quickly with a nice ball up. So slapping it forward was Hutt, although East Point are going to come back now towards centre forward in the Joyce direction, but Lockyer was well up to the task, just slipped out of his grasp, and we'll get a boundary throw in about 65 out from East Point's goal. And as we have some scoreboard malfunctions at Marty Bush, I'm sure that will get sorted in a short due time.
Yeah, Ian's falling asleep at the wheel again, no surprise. He says, I don't like East Point that much, I wipe their score. We played about 5.5 minutes though in this third term, and Sebas again out of the clearance. Nice kick through the middle. So they really try to stretch the East Point defence. Garner did well to trap it. Handball over the top, well opportunity here for the Sebas. Through the corridor they go. Right foot kick coming. It's a wobbly one to the top of the square in the end. Probably went between two minds there, where they had the guy in the square or go for goal. Did neither. Only found Jackson Merritt as East Point will now exit on the broadcast side. Opportunity here. Hiscock keeps it low. Canny below his knees, always clever. Did he keep it alive? No, he did not. Out of bounds it goes. We'll get a ball in on the broadcast side in between half forward centre wing. It's Sebastopol leading this one. 7 goals, 9 on the electronic scoreboard, 51. That leads 2-1-13, the same score that East Point were at the quarter time break.
So a boundary thrown in front of the coach's box, which I think it's the first time the ball's been thrown in from there tonight. So back underway and back to the stoppage. Quite a few players around the footy. It's going to be Hutt and Stevens once again. Hutt's worked in the off-season with ruck coach, ex-VFL Carisbrook legend Jackson Bowen, and of course he's in game 150 tonight. As ball comes out, Sebastopol putting his head over it was Hommelhoff, didn't get a free kick, and now we'll get a ball up in the centre square.
Had a really good term here, Jed. Kicked the goal, course, had a flying shot on the run, missed that one, but just looks like he's got that game-breaking ability, does the man they know called the Hoff. Having a good purple patch here. Brown with the clearance, will just dump it forward. In front, marks paid. Kelly can drive the Kangas into attack. Inside 50 coming. Kick was good to Jeffrey. At full stretch, he's able to hold on to the mark. Now, to be right on his limit, just on the 50-metre arc. Take his best strike from here. And the first real opportunity, East Point have had since the opening term. It was actually Jack Jeffries that had that sliding shot on goal that hit the woodwork. Couldn't have made it a single digit going to the quarter time break. Hit the post, made it 12 points. Been all the Borough since. Jeffrey decides to go pass off to Brown instead. Wilkinson gets the spoil. And again in two minds, no score generated. And Sebastopol rebound. Lockyer through the middle with a long booming kick. And look at that. Guess who? Forbar in the league takes the mark.
So Adam Forbes just wants to slow it down. Goes short to Stewart, and now East Point are able to flood numbers back, and that was Buckley, my apologies, who goes further down with about a 25-metre kick to Wilkinson, who's assessing up his options. Now decides to go long to about 40 metres, and coming up nicely was Slater. Took a nice intercept mark before, but couldn't hold on this time, and ball's just not coming out for now. Now it does, in advantage of Sebastopol, but East Point have numbers out the back and doing well there. East Point can come out now through Lucas, and a decent fly there from Phillips, but couldn't hold on, and East Point players just just fumbling around, but the odd kick's coming out. Hommelhoff couldn't take it cleanly. Going back for it. It's Phillips now. Hommelhoff does. Gives it to Hutt. Hutt goes, sorry, it's Steph Gardner who was dumped as he kicked it.
There's a big hit and it's on here.
And
It's on!
play continues. Joe Dodd has had his head ripped off. Umpire sees it that way as
you stick with the footy,
the situation just diffuses a little bit. Jacob Brown and Toby Hutt having some words.
Yeah, well, they used to get on like a house on fire in primary school. Obviously not anymore.
No. So Joe Dodd went back to Lucas and he has a long kick out towards the wing, out to Canny, who comes back inboard to Slater. So Slater has been quite, I think he's been decently resolute tonight. He's been good as he, low trajectory kick couldn't find its target. Now football is loose. Chasing hard after it is Merritt, who comes up with the footy. Goes for the 20-metre ball, although Sebastopol there would just slip through Lockie's hands. He couldn't grab it cleanly. They're at centre forward. Now the umpire's picked out a hold with a free kick going the way of Mikita Rotoma-Onus.
So MRO send the Kangas into attack. A high ball into the pocket. Joyce couldn't hold on to the mark. Did everything but mark it. Ball at ground level. Handle inside to Kelly. Handball over the top. Here's a shot on goal coming up for the Kangas. And through the big sticks. Nice finish. Smartly to the outside of the boot. Looks like it might be McDonald, is that's now threaded the needle?
Hiscock, I think.
Might be Hiscock actually in the orange boots, you're right. But a wonderful finish. And one that was the understatement of the century, desperately needed for East Point.
Was desperately needed. So Dylan Hiscock, in his 7th senior game, kicks a goal. Nice little check side. The East Point junior. So draws it back to East Point 3-1-19, trailing Sebastopol 7-9-51. As can they just use some momentum off that and bow it a little bit better? We'll wait and see. So umpire gets us back underway. Cairns going at it, but was wrapped up strongly in the James McDonald tackle. Tackled him like a bear. Ball's advanced a little bit for the Borough. So we go again. About 75 out from Borough's home. Stevens won the hit down, but wrapped up strongly in a tackle. Will go again, virtually same spot. Underway again. Hutt and Stevens continue their battle. Waiting down for it nicely was MRO, who got the clearance and put it in front of young Jesse Marshall, who just repelled and went backwards. Found a target nicely. Merritt, who runs his measure. And now goes forward to centre. Forward. Overcooked the kick a little bit. Swooping in now, Sebastopol defenders, although none of them can pick it up cleanly. And now footy is wrapped up and umpire says, gents, that one's mine.
So just outside 50 for East Point, but you just feel like they're building. That goal, it's amazing how one goal can just give a little bit of confidence, lead to a second. One down the ruck there by Stevens. Ricochets back towards the ball in the gate and MRO. Took on the world and did so well. Ball spat free, high tackle though. Free kick will go the way. It looks like it's Felix Henderson. Got one in the mush.
East to be pleased with how they've started this third term. It's level inside 50s and they're winning their hit-outs and clearances.
So a couple of St Joey's boys link up there. Henderson short, required 15, finds his way to Buckley. And he can continue on towards Stewart on the broadcast side. Drop one he should have taken. Had enough time to make amends. Thump one down the line to an even contest, but won't get there. Wenright McGuan, the loose man in front. Kicks it surely not 15. No, the umpire's paid it. I would have said 14.9 in my book, but nevertheless, Dodd will be the beneficiary. Broadcast side centre wing. High ball inside 50. Joyce from the back. Could take the mark. At ground level. Tough would to be won. Got maybe some high contact. Umpire way play on in the Banbury direction. Blind turn superb. Handball away towards Hommelhoff to Holmes. Looks to go back to Hommelhoff. Maybe slightly too cute. Turnover incoming in the middle of the Marty Bush reserve. Holmes has to go back and make amends and did well. Holds it in the tackle. Will get a ball up in neutral territory. Scoreboard reads 7 goals 9-51. That's the Borough. East Point 3-1-19.
So Sebastopol defending gallantly there. Stevens wins down his hit down to Merritt, who gets it inside, but reading the play really nicely was Jack Buckley. He's had a really good night tonight in his Sebastopol debut. Was going to go right and then went left and then didn't choose to go left and then kicks on his right foot into the corridor, but it's proven risky. So Sebastopol barging through was a player who's been wrapped up in the tackle, so we'll get a ball up. It's James McDonald, young James McDonald, game 30, so umpire gets us underway again. Sebastopol leading by 32, so Jesse Marshall was able to get off a handball and East Point can come in again, but reading the drop zone really nicely was Stewart.
Yeah, and this is where the young kids got to show some composure. Sebast's trying to set up the switch. Got to be very good by foot, which they are on this occasion, to get it across to Phillips. We'll draw the man with the hand and Wilkinson, and he'll now go down the line. Overcooked it slightly, but it'll work for Banbury still. Handball inside was good towards his captain in Hart. He wants to go back in that direction of Curtin. He couldn't find him. Hacked up the deck there by East Point. Brown came through and he's dumped in a crunching tackle by Banbury, and maybe push and shove will continue.
Boundary umpire wanted to call holding the ball there. The field umpire just said, no, not enough prior.
Fans boundary side clearly unhappy with that too.
Whistle went away. We'll keep with the action. Hutton Stevens, neutrally down in the end. The ricochet will favour Stevens forward. Look away, hand pass off to Cairns. Steps around to his right boot. Lines up the goal. There's Jesse Cairns. And if you don't tell me, it's touched on the line.
That was almost a wonderful goal from Jesse Cairns.
I was about to say, hey, he's had a quiet start return to season 2026, but that little side step to open up the angle, the bend around the body, touch right in the goal line, and a minor score as a result.
That calf was fine with that kick, I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
That would have been goal of the night contender. So Buckley's going to take it out for Sebast with a barrel, if you don't mind.
Hello!
Great purchase on. In fact, it's gone out the back. 70 metres, I reckon. So picked up now by Littlehouse with a long handball over the top to Wilkinson. Had to be clean, but wasn't. Barging through now is Littlehouse again, who goes with the outside of the boot. East Point players just couldn't quite mark. Now they do. I think that's Slater coming in, kicks it to Williams. A scrubby kick. He was good at picking it up on the bounce. So East Point now going forward. Joyce has to work too, and nearly did, but just dropped the mark, and they're able to recover for Sebastopol. Stewart coming out, and now they're just dropping some marks they usually take in there. That was Keel who gave it off to Minari, and Minari can go to centre half forward. Out the back, Lucas couldn't quite take it, but doing well for East Point. And they're able to clear through Slater.
Yeah, Slater was good again. He looks more accustomed behind the footy. Of course, last week started as a forward and went back in the second half, and tonight he's been one of their best as they chain through a few kicks back towards where it all started with Slater at centre half back.
It's been good, Slater.
So we come broadcast side. They have numbers over here. Retirement owners is one of them. Gives the handball receive, and they'll thump it inside forward 50 to a genuine one-on-one. Big ball by Phillips. Wait, now is Joyce. Left footer. Has to bend it around the corner. In the end, the wrong side of the post. A minor score the result. 3-3-21. That's East Point trailing Sebast. 7 goals, 9-51. A challenge starting to mount, though, here from the Kangas.
Yeah, well, they've got to go now. They have to make up some deficit. So Sebastopol just slowing down the tempo ever so slightly right now. A few short kicks. Here's Jack Banbury. One of their super players, averaged 30 a game last year. He goes short to Curtin. Curtin over the top to Lockyer. Lockyer now uses Buckley. Buckley can run a bit. He has been very nice tonight, kicking it to the top of the 50. No mark taken. Jesse Cairns waiting down for East Point. Just lost the footy. Minari went in for Sebastopol, but going back there, I think it was Jacob Brown who was able to find a nice target there in Canny. Canny is going to go to use the other side of the ground. They're just going to spread ever so slightly. So East Point work up to centre forward again. Now Jeffrey couldn't quite take. Was he pushed? Umpire said no. Swooping in though nice was Hiscock. Couldn't quite get a clean handball away though, and Sebastopol now may come up with it. Banbury through to Coach Lockyer. Lockyer with a long kick inside 50, presenting nicely there. I think is Edwards. Couldn't quite take the mark, although swooping down on the ball was Forbes, but no one's home. Goalkeeper only.
Yeah, well, I thought for a second he was looking at number 5. They get a full handful, but goalkeeper in the Lions just said so well with Sammy Lucas again for East Point.
Yep.
And what they've been able to do here is been able to find some marks, East Point. They've just been able to chip it around a bit, maintain possession, and really get those 3 or 4 mark chains before going forward.
+7 for the quarter, Sam.
Thank you very much, Tristan Ashmore. As short ball down the line by McDonald's in the Cairns direction. Gardner. Now that should be a lasso. He's handballed that out of bounds, and now they're saying it's off hands.
We'll get a throw here on the boundary. Couple of cover punches.
Ryan Notha.
backs himself against
Ryan.
the...
Notha against the
Ryan, you have children. Think about what you're doing. That is MRO.
MRO is by far the most cumbersome player in the competition, and Notha said, you know what, I'm going to give you one or two, but good on him.
Stood up.
Just diffuses now as we're back underway. Hutt, nice tap down to the veteran Keel. Keel uses Ben Hutt nicely, then uses Hommelhoff. Hommelhoff steps around nicely. Jesse Marshall then goes on the left foot out towards Holmes. So Holmes in game 50. Won their 2017 under-18s best and fairest, but that kick isn't great. And Liam Canny takes the nice intercept mark and goes on quickly to Brodie Willems.
The spice is in this game, and at the minute, East Point have found a way to break down the Borough with keeping the ball in hand with some chip mark. Something they couldn't do in the opening half whatsoever. McDonald takes the mark to centre wing. This is still the problem. They can't really find clean possession going forward, but at least they're maintaining possession is the key. We don't have the disposal count in this game tonight, but I'd say be favouring East Point now from the way they're able to maintain possession as they transition all the way towards now the outer side of the ground. Time on, third term. They can look to go inboard. Presenting an option there should be rewarded. Mark is taken there. It looks like Merritt's got the way across to get it.
Lucas.
I was Lucas, sorry. Long sleeves got me. Both from Cobden, so give me that.
Yeah, they do have that in common.
Unfortunately, turnover going out of the way of the Ballarat halfback. They can retreat by foot here. Go to Buckley, who just looks like the type of player that everyone would want in their side. Play mid, can play back. It's been good. As Sebastopol will come broadcast side with a kick. Garner slipped through his grass. He's got good wheels though. He's able to get the handball away down the line. Opportunity here for Curtin. He's run down from behind. Got boot to ball just before the umpire could put whistle to the mouth. Now Jeffries. Turnover opportunity here for East Point. They want to access the corridor, which they do. Mark is taken. They'll play on immediately through McDonald as he goes to half forward, and Mark's taken there by Joyce. Too far to score, 80 from goal. We'll go laterally. Again, this slow, methodical approach from East Point being fruitful, but can they get it on the scoreboard? Williams will play on, thump a high one to the square. It's a 4-on-1 in the air. He's cocked it about half the contest, but numbers will naturally prevail. Phillips will get the 1-2 now with Lockyer. Tony will stop and prop, chip at 15 minutes and find Buckley.
Saturday night footy here. Sebastopol leading East Point by 30. Jack Buckley's going to play on and go by hands now to Cooper Littlehales. Littlehales wheels around, kicks on his right towards the contest in Fletcher, who did really well to outwork his man, who's Joe Fraser, and get goal side. Kicking towards the top of the square, it's vacant. Running on fast is Minari, but the ball ends up winning and takes Sebastopol now to a 31-point lead. So East Point, they went down to Bacchus Marsh last week, and tonight, well, they've had some problems. They've proven fallible this year, but they are a terrific football side. So we're back underway here. East Point, can they just get some momentum? Stepping around a few there. I think it was Sam Lucas who goes along down the line in the direction of his cock, but couldn't hang on. Joyce was able to gather and look corridor, but just turned it over in a dangerous spot. Now can Sebastopol make them pay? So picking it up was Hommelhoff, who then gave it off to Buckley, who shows his class, gets around one, gets around two, and now forward 50 entry. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a lead.
Ash Minari, that is terrific ball movement from Sebastopol.
Put that on the highlight reel from the tape on Tuesday. Like, that is super. The sidestep, not once but twice, running at full tilt, right down the eye diddle. When they've been challenged in this term, and a laser-like pass to find Minari on the lead. And look, this guy is a sharpshooter. He's kicked 100 plus in country footy a couple of times, directly in front. I'll put my house on it. Straight to the middle, Sammy.
Sammy Young's put his house on it. He kicked 13 goals last year, was recruited from Tadayun. He comes in and, well,
see you, boys.
Sammy's lost his house.
I'm now homeless, so I'm taking an opportunity to put my name out there for a place to rent.
It's all right, public transport's free this month.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, East Point getting us back underway here in their back left pocket. Long kick up down the line to a 2-on-1. Flying high was McDonald. Couldn't get a great chunk of the footy, though he now comes up with the ball and goes back to Wilkinson, who was spun in the tackle. Working hard down low as Keel. Now East Point just gathering. Cooper Glenwright McGuan says, I'm putting this on the boot and I don't care where it goes. It wasn't 15. Sebastopol may come up with it, but we've been called a high free kick.
Yeah. Just quite simple. Head of the footy first. you're first to it, you're always a chance. As Lockyer returns from after a little trip down the race, he might have had to just potentially relieve himself. He seems to be moving okay, so nothing untoward for all the Borough faithful. High ball inside 50 for Sebast, but numbers behind the footy do favour East Point as they send it across goal. For all their good work to stem the bleeding, boys, they still haven't been find a way to generate score. And that was going to be the biggest question of season 2026 for Joe Carmody, was without Bryson McDougall, without Geordie Johnston, can they kick a winning score? Thus far, 1 game and 3 quarters in, looks very unlikely. So we've transitioned now out towards the outer side. Sebastopol will halve the contest in the air, create a stoppage, just on true centre wing.
He'll be looking at his leaders about now, and so like which one can stand up and deliver them some momentum to get back in this game.
Well, we've got you, Tristan. What are some numbers from this term?
Looks like pretty even across the board. Inside 50 count is spot on. Hit-outs, Stevens has really stepped up in this third quarter after probably a disappointing second quarter to Hutt. Clearances, East Point +2. Both teams 1 goal 2 in the quarter.
So a high kick was taken cleanly by Buckley, who just goes back to Wilkinson. Sam Wilkinson, that is, who now uses Stewart. And he's got 35 players up in front of him and goes wide looking for Phillips, who has to go back to Stewart. Stewart then hits a target. Nice kick.
Yeah, good composure there by Stu, because he missed the first target. He would have came back to him. He would have thought, all right, I've got to make amends, and I'll out pass to Jimmy Curtin.
Curtin finds Toby Hutton, game 150 if you've just joined us. He's been an integral part of this Sebastopol unit and is also notorious for missing flights. But East Point now, that's a nice intercept mark. 150
games and still hasn't worked out his airfares. That was the issue a couple of years ago.
No, anyway, it's good on you, Toby Hart. That's a great achievement. So East Point, MRO now, decides I'm kicking this one to young Cooper Glenwright McGuan, who takes it on the second bite of the cherry. He's 70 out from home, looks up enthusiastically and goes short to Jesse Cairns in his first game of the year. And the siren's gone. If he wants to, he can try and have a shot, which...
Sebast's fighting all numbers to the goal line.
Don't dangle the carrot in front of the horse. He's 60. He's going to have to kick from 65 out.
Can't run around 2.
He could hear me if I yell loud enough, but he's going to go off the barrel. Let's see it, young Jesse. Runs his measure and doesn't get enough purchase of it at all. So Jesse Cairns with a valiant attempt to kick an absolute Hail Mary, but that takes us to 3/4 time here at the Muddy Bush Reserve. East Point have given themselves a mountain of work to do in the last term. They're 3-3-21, trailing Sebastopol 7-10-52. Tristan, key numbers from that third term?
The main thing I'm looking at is Joe Carmody clearly at half-time and said, boys, we need to control the game and take some marks. Bit of chip footy, try and build some momentum. That's happened. They're just not translating it into scores.
Well, the reality is it's good to get momentum because they needed to wrestle back some respite from that second term. When they conceded 16 or whatever it was inside 50 in a row, that was the time to do that. When you had your backs against the wall, find some control. When you're now chasing the game, well, they can chip around as much. Like Sebastopol won't mind. For all their hard work in that term to even up and equalise the contest there at East Point, Sebastopol scored the same in that term, and we know what they did in the second term going to the left of the screen. They might take a little slight breeze advantage to finish here and run away with a healthy win, you'd feel.
Yes, well, we're going to take a quick break here at 3/4 time. It's Sebastopol leading by 31. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Marty Bush Reserve. Here is the Sebastopol crowd just make its way off the ground. We're nearly
Healthy
ready.
crowd.
Very healthy crowd indeed. We're nearly ready to get the fourth quarter underway. Youngie, do you want to take us through the goal kickers from that third term?
Yeah, from the third term, the only goal came to Jed Homerhoff, but for the game, you got Forbes got 4, singles to Homerhoff, Fletcher and Keel, whilst for East Point, Hiscock got the goal in the third term for them, and singles to Brown and Q. And in the end, we've only seen 10 goals kicked in 3 quarters of footy, which suggests how important those 4 goals Adam Forbes in the first half has been to, well, essentially be the difference on the score sheet. I mean, we've used the term bang for your buck a fair bit. We were talking about this off air, but Sebast just seemed to have a bit more, what I would say, polish forward to centre, and you saw that it didn't result in the goal. I lost my home with Minari centre the full, so thank you for that, Ash. But having Buckley go through the middle the way he did, that's class that East Point don't seem to have since they've lost, the players they have.
So fourth quarter's getting underway now. It's going to be Fraser in the ruck for East Point, and he got the hit out well over Hutt, but roving at best was Sebastopol, and Hutt gets that clearing kick, but he can find a teammate in Jacob Wilkinson who did well to take a nice chest mark. He's 65 out from home. He's got Edwards presenting nicely, although the kick wasn't sufficient. Glenn McGowan got a piece, although working well at ground level, really nicely well at ground level is Banbury, who goes with the outside of the boot and kicks an absolute ripper. Jack Banbury goes bang and extends Sebastopol's lead to 8-10-58, leading East Point 3-3-21.
I've been a massive fan of this guy for a long time, but he's spent most of his senior footy career behind the footy at half-back, finding the footy, setting up the play. When he went into the midfield last year and became a more productive offensive weapon for Sebas, you can really see the benefits in the footy. Got 22 goals in 68 games of senior footy. That's an example of class. Outside the boot, he was arguably the best player in interleague footy last year. I'm shocked that there isn't VFL clubs sitting around to get his services week after week with the footy that he's been able to put together the last 12 months.
He's certainly got the talent. Yes, he's still young, part of that interleague side last year as the umpire gets us back underway. Still on Jack Banbury, and he was out for much of 2024 with a hamstring as well, and he's done really, really well to work his way back. So Sebastopol got a good one there. So we're back underway. Mikita Rodomonis, clearance king, wheels around, gets on his right foot, kicks a 30-metre high ball, and sliding in was a really nice mark taken, although the umpire's going to pull out a hole, I think.
Yeah, he's just getting a little bit pedantic. Just pay the mark, man. We want Tristan put another little asterisk in his little book. Short ball finds its way there to Banbury.
Yeah, had to ride that one out, Sammy.
Get the eraser going.
Absolutely.
Keel took on the world and did so nicely. Went back with a hand pass to Banbury and missed him. So might have the door here for East Point to go forward. Although Sebas got the Calvary across, clearing, dumping kick will be a high ball. Tough on the mark. Big fist over the top there was good by the Kangas. Inside they go to Glenn McGowan. Round a full stretch, couldn't hang on, so is Joyce. Bounces up, shoots at goal. Wrong side of the post again for him. That's his third blemish of the night. He goes, East Point now go to 3-4-22. Sebas running away with it as they're 8-10-58.
It's like a tiny bit of polish, has Joyce. The talent has been there. It is there, clearly.
He's been everywhere tonight. Just can't.
He has such a bright future.
It's just that almost is his game. He's just that. With a bit more time, he'll get there for sure. You can see the talent's very there.
So with a long kick up the middle of the ground from Sebast, I think it was Lockyer kicking out of back. I could be wrong, but Rodomonis is over this one. Kicks it in. Hommelhoff did well. Got it on the boot, but it was quickly partially smothered. Now East Point, can they be dangerous? Cairns dishes out a handball to a dangerous spot. Sebastopol are attacking them like seagulls to chips. Wheeling around nicely though was East Point. They were able to come back inside, but just couldn't quite find a target. There on the left foot, kicked by Sam McDonald.
Oh, they're pretty happy in the social rooms. The tunes are on early. Or they've already introduced songs for after goals here at the Marty Bush Reserve. That'll be the next thing that we see in the BNFL that I don't like.
Oh, Sammy, you're a hater.
I don't hate Harry Sheezer with the team song. Yeah.
Clearly a hater of music.
So that's a nice grab overhead there from Fraser. Just goes short. Somehow the ball came out. Swooping in there was Lucas. And the umpire's going to pay a free kick here. Yeah,
you just feel like going this final term when it was a 5-goal margin that East Point had to have the perfect quarter for Sebastopol go forward with the goal of Banbury. The game feels a little bit, dead from here. And it seems like it's going to be Sebastopol by how much as they continue to press forward here towards the half-forward line. Opportunity for Little Hales to send it in the direction of Joel Edwards. It hasn't been his night yet. Forbes flying across. Now here's Edwards. Left foot kick will go towards the top of the square. Holmes in a one-on-one. Tries to hack it out mid-air. Ball still low. Karate kick attempt there by Fletcher. He almost took the head off of the fall, but you don't want to do that. And the ball goes towards the pocket. We'll get a ball up.
Well, Adam Forbes has been Sebastopol's Ferrari tonight, and he almost just had a massive T-bone collision.
Yeah, to explain that again, it was Fletcher going in mid-air Jackie Chan style, and he really kicked him right in the schnoz.
So Toby Hutt out of the ruck. He had a good look at the goals, but just maybe he had a bit more time than he thought to really process the kick. But
it's hard in that situation, and the thing is, you got to be alert. I know Stevens is a young player, so he'll learn, but like Toby Hutt always looks to take the ball out of the air, especially inside 50. He loves this situation. It's almost that Tom Hawkins-esque type thing. He will try to get his opponent in the way, take it out of the air, and try to shoot a goal. Opportunity here for Henderson. Breaks free, kick on the outside of the boot. Lucas just elected to try to hack it up the deck. It was scrubby. It worked out to Merritt. Outside boot kick there coming from Liam Howard. It'll clear D50 for the moment, but you imagine it's going to come back with interest, although the Borough almost confuse each other with the amount of numbers they have around the footy. They keep it going though. Quick kick forward by Buckley on the lead, and the mark's taken there by Anderson. Nice little 15-metre pass. And again, a guy, Felix Anderson, who's had just some almost moments today, but you can see the class that he's going to bring to the table. 18 games, 20 goals for St Joey's last year, 4 times in their best, including 5 goals in one game against the Greater Western Geelong, which is the old Geelong West for those playing home. They know where the GWS kit, and he snagged 5 from the midfield. That day was their best player. Can he get his first in the blue and gold? Henderson comes in, it's across the face, in the end won't register a score. And it remains 8-10, 58 on the fading electronic scoreboard here at the Marty Bush Reserve. The 3-4-22. They have tried to get it fixed. The only issue they have is all the instructions are here in Mandarin. So if there's anyone with a little bit of experience, come see the faithful at Sebastopol and fix the scoreboard, please.
How has that happened?
I'm not sure, but only thing I remember from China was Ni Hao Ma, and that's about it. So unfortunately, I couldn't help him out get the clock back, and poor Ian's, well, if he had hair left, he'd be still tearing it out.
One of the last things I had on my bingo card tonight was to learn Chinese on air from Sam Young. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're just waiting for this football to come back. Liam Howard gives it a wipe. It's probably got a bit of dirt on it. So it's going to go long down the line for East Point. If it's something's going to happen, it's got to be super, super soon. And flying with an unrealistic attempt was Joyce. Umpire said play on. Ball spinning around. Kepler-Jones couldn't quite have possession, and Buckley just bounces off one, gets out a handball, and Canny was taken in a very strong tackle from McDonald, but maybe nearly could have been a sling, but it was a good tackle.
All right, starting to get a point to the question you have to ask is, what can East Point get out of this game? So Fraser's going to the ruck as a magnet move to try and get him around the footy. I think it'd be important to see someone like Glenn Wright McGuan potentially get some footy opportunity behind the footy and try to get some experience to these young players, because it's going to be an uphill battle from here. As Hiscock comes out of the clearance, sends a high ball to centre half forward, but it's all Sebastian, all Tony Lockyer. Sliding in, he couldn't complete the mark in the slippery conditions. Now comes at the front for East Point. Here's an opportunity at the goal face. He just needs to sit up for McDonald, slapped it forward, couldn't find its target, and in the end we'll get a stoppage. The other thing that did last week, Joe Carmody, which I was critical of, was when the game got out of hand, Jacob Brown went behind the footy. I'd like them to hold shape with him tonight. He finished the game at full forward, because that's clearly the way they're going to look to try to score in season 2026. No point moving that magnet now, the game's done.
So Stevens got a good chunk of the footy. Now over it is Sebastopol playing. I think it's an East Point free kick, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's going the way of Jesse Cairns. Did you see what that was for? I had the binoculars up.
Umpire did the old hands out, so I can only say it was hands in the back, so pushing the back.
So anyway, we move on. Jesse Cairns has a chance to bring this lead back to 30. First game of the season, has had a bit of a patchy calf, but comes in and kick is to the left for a behind, and it's a letdown, and in some ways it sums up East Point's night. Sam Young.
Yeah, you're certainly right there, Sammy. I mean, the reality is they haven't been able to look potent going forward at all. They've really struggled with the territory game, and the only time they've looked in control has been chipping the ball in their back half and maintaining possession, and it's not been the night for it. So Wet weather, I thought on paper, was a scrappy affair which should suit them against Sebas. They've brought none of that energy to the table and been smashed around in all the KPIs that I'm looking at in the game of footy.
Yeah, so Buckley with a long kick up the ground. Players fighting for it. Wilkinson tried to hack it off the deck. Dodd did as well and just couldn't get a piece of the footy now. Ball's just pinging around. Clearing kick from East Point captain Liam Canny, who kicks a high ball, and that's a really nice mark taken. That's not easy to do, and that's very well done from, I think it's Lockyer.
Yeah, it was Lockyer again, courageous and just so good, those intercept grabs.
He wears his heart on his sleeve. So Sebastopol going the other way for Nofa now, game 150. Just a chipping ball. He's going to make his players have to work for it. Head over the footy. Moving around, although just lost it, and Slater with a clearing kick wasn't good enough though, and Nofa was in the right spot at the right time. So another chipping kick from Nofa. Strong hands almost was Toby Hutt, couldn't quite. Sebastopol, I think you're going to get another look in though. They're 55 out from home, working around as Jacob Wilkinson, although he runs out of real estate and we've got to be under throwing.
Toby Hutt and Ryan Noth are playing club games 150 today. Started together in the under 10s, debuted in the same year. Both have been around Sebas, the highs and lows, a couple lost grand finals apiece. Great opportunity for for them to play such an important milestone together. Barra at half forward. All we need is one of them to get a goal. Notha sends it towards full forward. Fletcher didn't take the mark, but he bounced that well. He runs away, he snaps, he goals, and ices the game for the Borough. Fletcher has 2. Sebastopol have 9. 9-10-64 leads. 3 goals, 5-23 on the electronic scoreboard. And that's the exciting thing about Sebas. You look at inside forward 54 from Forbes today, a couple from Jacob Fletcher. You add in a bit of polish from the likes of Hommelhoff, Keel, Banbury as the goal kickers this evening. They've been able to find avenues to goal without any of their tools hitting the scoreboard, which means it's pleasing when you get to more drier, better conditions moving forward, then more potency in other games of footy for the season.
Yeah, that was a brilliant finish from Jacob Fletcher. Tristan Ashmore quickly, stats.
What do we got, boys? 6 marks to 2 early days and 5 inside 50s to Sebas, to East Point's 3. Pretty even. East Point a little bit cleaner in the ruck work, but Sebas leading the clearances 4-2.
Thank you very much, as Felix Henderson took.
Yeah, landed heavily, and the umpire, as the new interpretations we've seen in the AFL a lot, they will blow time off initially whenever they see an opportunity for an injury for them to get attention, but he's all good, he's up and running. And Hutt again takes it out of the ruck and gives it to that man Henderson. Left foot kick, will dribble to half forward. Q's going to have to be good. It's subset about the Garner. Oh, there's a volleyball spike over the top. How good was that? And on the lead, Mark is paid to Minari. Juggling attempt. But how about the clever thinking? He's got Henderson breaking for him inside 50. Unselfish was Minari. And Henderson, a left footer on the right side for him, can line up for goal.
Made the angle slightly worse there, though.
Yes, but...
So he'll have another shot.
After the Minari's last shot at the goal, of course you passed off. It cost me my house. Hendo, you've done nothing to me yet, young man, so...
Well, he's got a chance to kick his first goal in Sebastopol colours. Comes in. The Joey's recruit is going to kick from 45. Quite an angle on that left boot. Kick looks good. And it smashes into the woodwork for a behind. 9-11-65 Sebastopol. Well and truly in front, 38-23 East Point.
Don't say that too quickly.
He had a little bit of a chuckle there after kicking that one. The East Point boys let him know about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how he got between those two big sticks. You would have saw 17 players come run over to him to pat him on the head, and then he misses, and Jordy Slater straight over there say, oh, better luck, champ, you still haven't got one. Short ball there from Merritt. Finds Hiscock, who I think's been in their best tonight. Kicked a goal, shown some lively things. One that can hold his head high. Spearing ball down the line. Slater just couldn't take the mark. Stewart's handball was interrupted by Jordy Slater. Little Hales wrapped up. We'll get a ball. But I like his minutes in the midfield, in the ruck as the second ruck today, Cooper Little Hales. Obviously, we know we can do as a forward, Sammy, but I think his minutes in the ruck have been very valuable for Sebas.
Yeah, he's a very lively young talent. Of course, he's already been catapulted into their leadership group. As we're just in front of the Borough faithful here, so if you're an East Point player, you don't want to do something
I'll let you know, don't try that.
They will let you know. So we're underway. It is Little Hales in the ruck. No Ruckman really got a piece of it. Kepler-Jones did well in the phone box. Got it off to Slater. Slater off to Hiscock. Hiscock couldn't quite get a clean handball, but it might work out. Kepler-Jones with it again. Long kick down the line inside 50 to a one-on-one. over the top with Stewart, and I think it's going to be paid.
Yeah,
A free kick for...
just impeded his run in the marking contest, so Joyce will get an opportunity here from right on the 50-metre arc. Left footer as well, so he can open up the angle to get that arc with the distance.
He will, and we saw he's a monster kick last week. He backs himself, goes for it. He's been dumped after.
Doesn't matter, he's kicked it.
It doesn't matter. It's through.
What a roost.
What a wonderful goal from Jared Joyce. He has got a whopping left foot and gives something to cheer about for East Point.
It's unfortunate to see a bit of push and shove post this as well. I mean, it's been in it all night, we know that, but it takes away from what was such a good goal. And Tristan, you mentioned actually how it's been such an almost game for him. Well, that's the almost brilliance that we can see. It goes the other way on the pendulum. He gets it from outside 50, thumps it home. As he continues to get more and more senior footy, the number 11, the new JJ as he's going to be known, I think he'll be becoming a bright star in this competition.
Yeah, if you're East Point, you're just really frustrated after that effort last week against Backsmash. Be coming in today full of energy, full of confidence. They won the clearance count last week. They were competitive for 4 quarters of footy. I know the scoreboard doesn't reflect that. And they just haven't shown up when it's mattered tonight. So that was a really good moment from JJ.
So underway again, Sebastopol get the clearance, chasing hard as Cooper Glenwright McGuan, but he's got a Sebastopol player on his hammer. Just a tiny little dinky kick on the right slipper to Rotomonas, who does well to get out of traffic. Goes back to Glenwright McGuan, who tapped it on, and umpire's going to ball up. 45 out from Sebastopol goal. They lead by 36 points here with the Marty Bush reserve under lights. It's come to life this quarter. The crowd is vocal. Little Hales just pushed his man off, and umpire wants to ball it up.
So it was maybe a chance for a little bit of high contact. And
he gave that pause, didn't he?
Yeah, he thought about the umpire. Whistle went to mouth, but he didn't blow.
Apologies, that was Fletcher before. So we're back underway. Rotomonas.
We'll get another stoppage inside forward 50. 45 metres out from goal. 9-11, 65. They're 4-5, 29. Little Hales in the ruck against Fraser. MRO, another clearance. Shock. Doesn't clear D50 though. Hutt almost the juggling attempt at the mark. Around the back, do was Fletcher. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Was on McDonald, spat it out there to Glenwright McGuan, who just dumps it out at D50. Keep an eye on McDonald here, just slow to get back up. A little bit of a hobble up. Back with the footy action though. Banbury with it. Will send it inside 50 for the Borough. Hutt's floated inside 50. Has a good set of hands. Couldn't quite hang on. East Point come through Merritt. Did he duck? Toby Hutt again. Couldn't gather. Merritt could clear. Bouncing ball will be a tough one to deal with. Luke Hill did well, threw his weight around. Get the footy in front, the former coach of the Borough. Spat it out wide, only as far as East Point though, and Q. Now it ricochets back into the traffic. Opportunity coming from the contest was Banbury. Broke free with Manning Wooden. Almost like a knife through butter. He sliced and diced his way through the kick lane down, sent it down the full.
He's been good as usual tonight, Jack Banbury.
Yeah, he's a star.
He is
Fletch!
one Sebastopol will want to keep for a very long time. So as the footy comes back to the grass, Liam Howard gives it another wipe, and he's going to be forced to kick long down the line here, in which direction he goes. So presenting nicely. There's some East Point players, but it ricochets out to that man Banbury, who runs around one, goes onto the right boot with a banana and puts it through. Jack Banbury kicks his second banana of the night, and that one was superb.
Yeah, lovely finish there by Jack Banbury, and the ability again just to come out front of stoppage there unopposed and almost just cut his way through, the East Point defence. They're like witches hats. It's like a training drill for him at the minute. His second half's been enormous.
Yeah, Sebas plus 5 inside 50s in the quarter, and they've already kicked 4 goals, so just absolutely dominating forward centre. Just
a little one to keep an eye on here. Joel Edwards is going off the ground with a bit of a hobble. Just on his own power, which is the good thing, but hasn't been his night. Obviously, it was a key forward. It's always going to be tough conditions, but hopefully just a little minor knock round one. Get some ice on it. His day, well, I reckon, will be done, boys.
Can feel his presence, though.
Yeah. Back of the action in here. Henderson at the ground level, flicked it out. Got it to Banbury to Hutt. He will turn it over on this occasion for the moment. I'll probably Hommelhoff kind of at the square just to halve the contest and even it up. And in the end, we'll get a stoppage. 10-11-71 leads. 4 goals, 5-29. Super Saturday in the Ballarat Footy League this week. Don't worry about gather round. It's Super Saturday here in Ballarat. And at the moment, tonight's game between Sebastopol and East Point has been all the Borough.
It has, and a clearing kick there from East Point towards 50. Trying to get out of the maze, but it looks like it's going to be held up, although now it does come out. Glenn Rudman in there, Jesse Cairns. Sebastopol with a clear dumping tackle, and it's going to be a free kick for...
Yeah, just driven into the turf, I think. It was one of those ones where, again, it was a 50-50 call for the umpire, because if he didn't go with a dangerous tackle, it's holding the ball into free kick at East Point, but he's infringed on the tackle, apparently.
Coach Lockyer, who will be happy with his team's efforts tonight, gave a handball to Banbury, and Banbury with a nice kick up the ground to Keel, so 3 of the big names getting involved. Now short to Gardner. Gardner's 70 from home. He directs Ash Minari, who's coming. Cutting it off nicely, though, was Lucas, and that's what he's been called into East Point to do, take big intercept marks.
Yeah, it's almost like Inspector Gadget, the way he gets across at times. He's a likely prospect.
He is the boy from Colac. So goes out. Oh, big collision. Minari involved, and it looks like... Is that Seth Gardner?
Yeah.
Just still down.
Still eligible for the under-18s is Seth, and he's going to be sore after that one.
Yeah, just clutching at that right arm. He's going to come to the bench.
I think it's the old-fashioned stinger, I reckon he's got.
Yeah, so let's hope he is okay. So in the ruck, doing well there. Getting the hit out for East Point was Fraser. And now they're going to get the clearance for Hiscock, who goes up the ground to a one-on-one. I think, is that Rodomonis? It is, so he's worked forward. He did really well to shake off his man, and inside 50 with the right shoe. Makes Stevens have to work a bit, who does get it off to Hiscock, who has a centering ball, but waiting on the goal line was the Sebastopol defender.
Can't tell it's around mum the amount of cramps on this field.
Yeah, get the pickle juice ready. Although East Point have no excuse. I mean, they played a game last week, and yet it seems like Sebastopol decide they're running it out far superior. On their first hit out of season 2026, they lead comfortably by 41 points here, game high margin. As I'll go down the middle of the hand pass. Lockyer will be the creator. Booming kick as always. Wilkinson from the back did so well. Now has a vacant 50 to aim at. He had good vision to spit it wide initially to a teammate. They've got to hold it up and allow their cavalry to arrive. That man is Fletcher. He takes the mark. For half a moment you thought he might just tuck it under the arm and say, oh, I'm going to go line for me third, but he's going to take his 30, go back, set shot.
And kick it.
Take all full ownership, 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Sebast's really just controlling this fourth quarter. They're +8 in the marks, and they're +8 inside 50, so just all around the ground they're just being better than East Point tonight.
Yeah, it's just simple. Sometimes you have a night that you're just better than the other side, and I think that's just been Sebastopol against East Point today. As Fletcher will come in for number 3. Kicks across the face. Is it off hands? Yes, it is. So we'll get a boundary throw in. So stoppage deep inside 50 for the Ballarat.
So Sebastopol playing for percentage now. It's 10-11-71, leading East Point 4-8-30, and got a boundary throw in next to goals. It's going to be Toby Hutt in the ruck up against Fraser. Just works him off well, but just couldn't quite take it cleanly. Going in hard was Henderson, who's been taken in the tackle. We get a ball up in the left forward pocket. Quite a dangerous spot. So here we go. Toby Hutt's lining up for a big leap. Just grabbed it out of the ruck. Got off a handball. Luke Keel quickly just got boot to ball, and it's through for a minus score. That would have been brilliant, but that reads now the score 10-12-72 to East Point 4-8-30.
So Jackson Merrill bringing it in as he traditionally does, the former coach.
I wonder how many times Toby Hutt's grabbed it out of the ruck tonight, boys. It'd have to be at least 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Merritt's kick was towards the broadcast side. Minari, best position, takes the mark. Floats it towards full forward. Keel couldn't quite hang on. Merritt with the hand pass got it towards Smoke and Joe Fraser. Long right foot kick towards centre wing is ill-directed. It's going to come back exactly where it started in a way with Minari with the intercept. Short ball will find Holmes, who's been industrious. He can go short, but decides to go towards the leading target half forward. In the end, ill-directed. Go Gadget. Man and Sam Lucas takes the mark.
Oh, he's cramping.
Beatty's a much improved performance from him this week. I really liked his game. He's probably been the Kangas best, to be fair.
I think so.
Marshall looked to access the corridor left foot kick. It's a nice pass to find Cairns. He'll look to go long inside 50. Out the back, they've spat. Kick was good. Mark was taken. East Point will get a shot on goal. And that's better transition play. They go wide. They go back to the corridor. They get access and enter inside forward 50.
It was. very measured ball movement that was smooth.
But at least they're progressing. The problem in the third term was they wasn't gaining territory really from those kicks and marks, whereas that time you can change the angle, you can shift the defence, but then at some point you still need to go forward. The kick through the corridor from Marshall was perfect. That set up the whole play. So Joyce, we know, we have an issue with distance.
You'd expect him to nail it after the last one.
Yep.
Oh, he'll kick it halfway up the post.
I'm on the paint again. JJ, well, distance
coming
again.
back.
It'll come back, but it's the wrong side of the post, and it's halfway through to the velodrome. Miners score the result. 4-6-30. Should be now 4-7-31. Trails 10-12-72 here at the Muddy Bush Resort.
Do you get out in the velodrome much, Sam?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely
I thought you
not.
used to spend a lot of time on the bike.
Sam can ride a bike, I've seen that.
That's where you do your footy notes, isn't it?
We'll stick to the action here, boys.
Okay. So coming out, Lockyer. It's a nice kick out. So Sebastopol will have a scrubby kick, but might work all right for McDonald and going close to the boundary. I thought that was a lasso as well. It came off the foot.
Yep.
The umpire gave it.
Hey, you know what that means, boys? Lasso!
Oh, that's brilliant. So Sebastopol in board with skipper now Ben Hutt. Has a few options in the corridor. Now he pulls the trigger and finds brother Toby. So Toby, game 150. Another short option in the corridor is nice to young Seth Gardner. So it's good to see his arm's all right. So he runs his measure. It looked like he was going to go for barrel, but puts it 30 out. No, just
too easy.
Reading the drop zone better than everyone else was Luke Keel, and he ended up taking an uncontested mark, which is just a no-no inside 50, isn't it, Sam?
I know he played a few games at the back end of last year. Did Keel after coming off that devastating broken leg, but this year fully fit. He seems like almost like a new recruit for them in a way. He gives you so much impetus when he goes into the midfield. He goes forward. He can be a scoring option. I mean, he's a gun. We know how good he is, but that's an example then of pure experience. As you said, yes, his opponent slipped there. He marked his chances. It was a big no-no, but that's just the presence and the pressure that he put the young fella under next to him.
So Luke Keel for his second, directly in front, comes in, kicks good. Crowd will do the work. Luke Keel has 2, Sebastopol have 11. 11-12-78, East Point 4-7-31. The former VFL star has put it through, and Sebastopol have gone out to a very healthy lead indeed, Sam.
Yeah, 47 points for those who need their abacus at home. I mean, it's been a very commanding performance, and to me it poses the question, with these two sides that I think have been projected by the pundits to finish outside the 6. From what I've learned tonight, Sebas certainly can make it. They play this positive pro footy. East Point, on the other hand, they're going to start the year 0-2, and I've got massive question marks where they're going to go in season 2026 under Joe Carmody. Back to the action here. Fraser's been good when he's gone the ruck. Hacked up the deck, but he missed it in the end. It was a fresh area from Henderson. Canny bumps it forward. Waiting down at ground level. Opportunity will come for East Point. Shot is on goal. It's across the face, though. And
That was Fraser Kelly.
Yeah, it's been lucky to actually register a score altogether. 4-8-32. Trails 11-12-78 here at the beautiful Marty Bush Resort.
So kick out is well and truly in Sebastopol's favour. So, although that one, though, further up the ground is spilled out of bounds. Tristan, stats for us?
Yeah, boys. Sebas have scored 5 goals this quarter from 13 inside entries, so that's pretty good going. Just over 40%, so dominating when they go forward.
Thank you. You've been brilliant tonight. So back underway. Fraser still in the ruck for East Point. Coming around nicely here, and Buckley's able to get a kick out for Sebas, although massive fist coming from Howard, I think it was, but sends it back in the direction of Stewart there, I think, and going forward now, coming through hard was Kelly for East Point. Gives it off to Joyce on that left foot. Had a look at the goals and was able to get on that favoured left side, but just couldn't quite hook it back enough for a minor score.
1 goal, 5 for Jared tonight. So it could be such a different night if he had his kicking boots on. But a lot of half opportunities, yes, that's one of those ones that you sort of want to get 50-50, but 1-5 doesn't read very good in the book.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, East Point did only have their goalpost put up a few weeks ago because of cricket at the Eastern Oval. So
I forgot.
I'm not saying that's an excuse.
It's so hard to go find some goalposts in your spare time. We'll go through Sebas again. A nice strong mark by Little Houses. They'll go towards a vacant half forward line. Opportunity here for Sebas. It was Garner's run down from behind. And the umpire's going to say, ball up. I thought he maybe had a slight opportunity, had maybe one step to get that prior opportunity, but nonetheless, umpire put the whistle away on that occasion. Great tackle by
No, I like the call.
Keppel Jones, who was chasing him. Out position, the Borough are out. Still got some defending to do here. Canny, kick was smothered. You skipper. Got a lot of work to do in season 2026. Did well to feed it out to a teammate. East Point exit to the outside, but this is going towards the line. You know what I mean, boys? Lasso. Free kick, Sebas.
Sam Young's favourite word, ladies and gents, is lasso. He loves the rule. So we're back underway with the action here. Chasing after the footy hard. And that's out of bounds on the full.
How clever is that? A little underground handball into the feet to went out in the full, or would have been a lasso. It was just very smart play by the young Ballarat player there.
Yes. So either way, here's Buckley. Goes with a long left foot kick. And
Minari.
grabbing it on the second bite was Minari, though not paid. Has to play on fast, but there is the siren. There is the siren, ladies and gentlemen. Sebastopol with, well, borderline an emphatic win. It's 11-12-78, East Points 4-8-33. A magnificent display of football on a greasy, wet Saturday night at the Marty Bush Reserve. Sebastopol 1-0 to kick off season 2026 in East Point 0-2. Sam Young, take us through your thoughts and goal kickers.
Yeah, I'll start with the goal kickers before I get to my thoughts. I mean, Adam Forbes started with 4 goals inside 50. A couple of goals to Jack Banbury, all coming in the last term. Luke Keel with 2, Jacob Fletcher with 2, and a single Jed Omaha. Whilst for East Point, it was singles to Brown, Joyce, Hiscock, and Q. And look, my thoughts on the game is I really do strongly believe now that Sebas can play finals. I've got a big game next week now against the Ballarat Swans, where they were obviously undefeated as well. But you sort of felt they had to win one of those 2 games to start the year if they really wanted to be fair dinkum at finals footy. They've done that now, so they get a free swing next week against a very much fancy Ballarat side, which I think they'll match up pretty well. Sebas look pretty good on the outside. They moved the footy pretty well. Behind the footy, they were well structured by Lockyer, only conceding what was that, a score of 33 for the evening is a great effort. And there's a lot of positives still to come when you look at their better players. I mean, no Cassidy tonight in their midfield. You welcome them back. You get more strings to your bow. Obviously, Edwards didn't hit the scoreboard, but she looked promising. Lockyer was still Lockyer, but he could do. We know he can play. Bigger games than that. Hupp didn't kick any goals either from the ruck. So, Minari didn't kick a goal either. He was in the thick of a lot of things, but no goals on the score sheet. So, I think there's a lot of positives for them going into next week. Whereas East Point, I don't know. I really worry about Joe Carmony's side here. I think he's got his back against the wall. He's a great coach. He's done a lot of great things here in the Ballarat Footy League, but I think it's time for a little bit of a harder reset than they were probably planning for this early in the season, and it's maybe time to flick a few magnets around.
Interesting thoughts. Tristan Ashmore on your stats debut. What have you got for us?
Boys started in the middle tonight. Centre clearances in that 4th quarter, 4-0. So really starting at the origin there. Hart letting his midfielders go to work. They went inside 50 16 times. East Point's 8 for 7 scoring shots. So they're almost going at 1 in 2 when they go forward to the ball. Yeah. Something that Joe Carmony's going to have to look at and be like, midfielders, we need to be a little bit tougher. Marks plus 15 in the 4th quarter. Sebas just controlling the footy, and that's probably why they've come out 45-point winners tonight.
Brilliant work from you. Brilliant work from you as well. Sam Young, as always, the voice of Ballarat football. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up round 1 Saturday night football. It is Sebastopol victorious 11-12-78, defeating East Point 4-8-33. So, a brilliant display here as they come just below us here on the balcony, and it's a few happy-looking lads. Sammy Young.
Yeah, it certainly will be. I mean, obviously doing a milestone game as well for Ryan Noether and Toby Hutt as they'll lead the boys off and get their deserved collapse. 2 blokes that started their footy journey together as 8-year-olds playing in the under-10s, as almost 30-year-olds now playing 150th games. Well done to Toby Hutt and Ryan Noether.
Shame no one wanted to cheer him off there and they just had to walk in on their own, but fair enough. I wouldn't want to carry Toby Hutt or Ryan Noether on my back either.
That's brilliant. So they'll go in and sing the song loud and proud. Of course, a few debutants as well that'll be in the middle. Well, thank you for watching. That's Saturday Night Football. It is Sebastopol 11-12-78 defeating East Point 4-8-33.